4 Super Bowl winners and a World Series titleist have played here in the last 11 years. Today, the Denver Broncos have come to town as a co-leader in the AFC West with the LA Raiders to meet the Steelers, currently a co-leader in the AFC Central with the Cleveland Browns. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Don Crickey. We already have one upset winner today, and that's the weather. Normally, the December 1st menu in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is cold and snow. Today, it is beautiful. Temperature in the 60s, clear and sunny skies. I'm joined, as usual, by former Cincinnati All-Pro Bob Trumpy, and by a special guest today, pro football expert Paul Zimmerman of Sports Illustrated magazine. Zim, this is a tough place for any visiting team to win at. What does Denver have to do?
Don, if you remember last year when they met in the playoffs, the burden was on John Elway, and he was banged up, and he got hurt worse during the game. Running attack went nowhere. They carried 6 times for 16 yards in the second half. I think it's the same cast of characters except for deep threat Vance Johnson, and the burden will be on Elway. He's got to have a good game today.
All right, there you have it, Bob. Mr. Zimmerman thinks the focal point is John Elway.
Don, this is scary. I agree with Mr. Zimmerman. Anytime you play the Pittsburgh Steelers, you must beat their defense. And over the course of this 85 season, defensive coordinator Tony Dungy made slight changes in this defense from a real chance-taking defense to very conservative. Mike Merriweather, their big sacker last year, no sacks in the last 8 games, just 8 interceptions in the last 8 games. They play very tough defense. And the nose tackle, Gary Dunn, back finally after a bad ankle injury, is the anchor to this defense. It's the best pass defense in the NFL. It's the second best defense you can find overall in the NFL. And this is a stifling Pittsburgh defense once again.
So we're set to go at Three River Stadium. The Steelers and the Broncos, of course, hooked up in that AFC playoff game, Mile High Stadium last December. The Steelers ran the ball well, shut down the Denver running game, and won it. An upset victory for Pittsburgh that day after Denver had completed a 13-3 regular season. Now the Broncos, who have a history of winning close games under Dan Reeves the last couple of years, come in with an 8-4 record. As you see, the deep men for Pittsburgh. Todd Spencer is back to the left. Back with him is Rich Ehrenberg. Here's the kickoff by Carlos, and again, he does not hit it well. It's been a continuing problem for Carlos. A spinner to the 10. Ehrenberg cutting cross field. Broncos try to hem him in, and finally he's run out of bounds, but the return is good. Coming across was Tony Lilly. A 21-yard return by Rich Ehrenberg, and now the Steelers go on offense with David Woodley at quarterback. He's been hospitalized in the last week. Had a very severe case of intestinal flu. They've transfused him with glucose, tried to get his strength back up. He worked out a couple of days this week, and apparently they feel he is ready to go. Regular starter Malone is out with an injured toe, has missed 4 games, and little U Scott Campbell's the third quarterback. Here's a handoff. The Steelers go to the run, and Abercrombie takes it out to the 35-yard line. The Denver coaches feel that priority number 1 is to stop the Pittsburgh running game. The coaches have told their players at Denver, if you let them run, we're going to lose the game. Chavis, Carter, and Jones across the defensive front. Linebackers with emerging star Carl Mecklenburg, already with 8 sacks as an inside linebacker. Now, 13 weeks into the season, the Broncos secondary, a very good one, is intact with Foley back, ready to play. 2nd down and 7 coming up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The run they go, and the Broncos shut down the run. Trump.
Don, you can see what the Denver Broncos idea is at the outset of this ball game. We announced a 3-man starting lineup. They went with a 4-man lineup. Simon Fletcher, the 4th defensive lineman, and they're going to try to shut down this Pittsburgh running game as quick as they possibly can. That is the secret to Pittsburgh. Control the line of scrimmage.
David Woodley, the quarterback, led the Steelers to 3 straight victories in the absence of Malone, and missed last week's game, and Scott Campbell played against the Redskins in a loss. Right now, Woodley's going to have to put it up on 3rd down and 7. David Woodley against a blitz, eludes it for the moment. He's going to run for a 1st down as he crosses the 40 and gets to the 44-yard line. So David Woodley, you may remember as a Miami Dolphin, quarterbacked his team into the Super Bowl in the strike year. Gets ahead for a gain and a 1st down for Pittsburgh. Knocked down by cornerback Mike Harden of the Broncos.
Excellent job by Woodley. There was pressure all over the place from behind the defense. You see the game up front also coming with the blitz, the Denver Broncos. And Woodley, who was a running quarterback for LSU in college. Good mobility there, big 1st down pickups.
1st and 10 on the scramble by David Woodley. Abercrombie on a slant takes it out close to the 48-yard line of the Steelers. Pittsburgh has fumbled the ball less than any team in the National Football League. They've fumbled it away only 5 times this season. Abercrombie had a problem with fumbles last year, but this season he's been putting 2 arms on it. Although his yardage per carry average hasn't been what they'd like. It's under 4.
One of the big matchups you got today, center Mike Webster, 52, guy who has not missed a down in 12 years, versus Reuben Carter, the nose tackle of the Denver Broncos, who hasn't missed just 2 games in his entire career as a Bronco.
Now it's second down and a long 6. The pitch back goes to Pollard. The Broncos hem him in and get him at the 50-yard line. He gained only 2 yards, was almost knocked down by Mecklenburg in the backfield. Coming across on the play to make the play was Steve Foley.
At Mecklenburg, very interesting story. Started out as a defensive lineman. Stan Jones makes him a linebacker. He'll line up everywhere but weak safety. One of the smartest and most versatile players the Denver Broncos have ever had. He knows all defensive line positions and all linebacker positions.
He was a draft day bargain, came in the 12th round at Carl Mecklenburg out of Minnesota, now in his 3rd year. 3rd down and 4 coming up for the Steelers. Scoreless first quarter. This is the opening drive. Woodley again eludes the rush by Rulon Jones and throws a strike that's dropped by Stallworth at the 43-yard line. Would have been a first down. John Stallworth, the longtime veteran, comes into this game with 62 receptions, and rarely does he drop a ball like that.
Don, you got that right. Normally the most sure-handed receiver you can find. He's made some of the most acrobatic catches, I think, in the history of the game.
Here's Harry Newsome now into punt. He's a rookie from Wake Forest. Had a punt blocked last week. Gerald Wilhite is back deep for the Broncos.
They're coming after him.
Gets it away. A spiral hit to the far side of the field. Wilhite on the run at the 16. Gerald Wilhite had a big game running the ball last weekend, and the absence of injured Sammy Winder is knocked out of bounds at the 24. So the Broncos have it when we... Back at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, this is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy and football expert Paul Zimmerman of Sports Illustrated magazine, as the Denver Broncos now have the ball for the first time in the game after forcing the Steelers to punt. John Elway at quarterback. Sammy Winder's in the starting backfield, just 10 days ago, arthroscopic knee surgery. Sammy's a gamer, though, and he's in there to start the game as the lone setback. Wide receivers to either side for the Denver Broncos as they go 1st and 10. Misconnection. Winder gets it, and he also gets a Steeler linebacker as he tries to go wide. Coming up to get him on the play was Mike Merriweather, a Pro Bowl linebacker a season ago for the Steelers, who had 15 sacks last year. Denver offensive line is veteran and solid and stuttered. Bishop, Bryan, Howard, and Lanier. Elway's been sacked 30 times. John Goodman now in the game for Pittsburgh, an extra pass rusher. There was a loss on that play of about a yard at 2nd down and 11. Elway goes to the draw play. Gene Lang takes it ahead and doesn't get much as some Steelers stayed at home. The key, as you pointed out, Trump, at the outset is Barry Dunn being in the lineup. Middle guard. He's missed a lot of games with ankle problems this year, but he can really shut down a running game.
You're absolutely correct. And if he can control the center of the Denver Broncos, Billy Bryan, that allows these linebackers to flow along that line of scrimmage and make changes. You can see Pittsburgh's idea here early. Give Elway one look at the last second, change the look completely.
3rd down and just over 10 coming up for Elway and the Broncos. John makes sure everybody's on the same page as he takes that shotgun snap. That's a rip, and he's got a man all the way out for a first down to the 35-yard line. Coming up with the ball was Vance Johnson, the super fast rookie from Arizona. An 11-yard gain, so a key throw by Elway. Tony Dungy, the defensive coordinator of the Steelers, told us, Trump, before the game, if Elway knows what the defense is going to be, he'll kill you. You've got to cross him up.
Here you see the change in the Pittsburgh defense. Just a 3-man rush, 8 guys back in coverage. This Pittsburgh defense allows 60% completion by their opponents, but for very few yards, Don.
Now Elway, who's confidence forward, ready to pump it long again if he can. Down the middle he goes, and he skips it in wisely, incomplete. He was looking at the Clarence Kay on the play as John Elway went down. Willis putting a rush on him, and so was David Little.
You're going to see that all day, too. Now, there may occasionally be a blitz by the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it's an outside blitz, and it's not really intended for the sack. What it's intended for is containment. There you see that amazing statistic. 24th in allowing opponents completion, but first in yards per completion. That's the big change in his Pittsburgh defense in 1985.
It indicates a deep dropping zone. They'll let you throw in front of it. And not deep. Second down and 10 for Elway and the Broncos. A scoreless first quarter. Fastball and a strike for a first down out to the 48-yard line. Well thrown ball. Clarence Kay comes down with it for a 14-yard gain as again John Elway drills heat right through the defense.
And you can see the ability of John Elway with that very quick arm. He is looking to the outside right. There's good coverage. You'll see Kay come from the left-hand side of the screen. He stops. When Elway stops, see the little hole in the defense? Elway with that very, very strong arm, able to get it there for a first down.
So Elway with a couple of big first down throws keeps the drive moving. First and 10 for the Broncos at their 49. Takes a hard shot at the 50-yard line. Got a hit for 3 down to the 47-yard line of Pittsburgh. Scoreboard changing. Cincinnati has gone in front of Houston. Larry Kinnebrew ran in from 7 yards out for the Bengals. And the Eagles have taken a 3-0 lead on a Paul McFadden field goal over the Vikings. Absolute perfect day in Pittsburgh. Temperature about 60 degrees. Clear sunny day. There was a threat of rain. They've had a couple of weeks of rain here in the Pittsburgh area. Flooding conditions through November, but it's absolutely perfect today. John Elway with 2nd and 7 goes to Winder. And the Steelers get him. He gets maybe a yard to the 46-yard line. Sammy Winder called on to start despite minor knee surgery just 10 days ago, if there is such a thing as minor knee surgery when you're a running back.
I'll tell you what, that is incredible. Arthroscopic surgery now has made so many athletes so quick, so soon. Of course, he was the only Pro Bowl participant for the Denver Broncos last year, over 1,000 yards. This year, barely half of that.
3rd and 6 for the Broncos. They're one of the best in the NFL at converting third downs, over 42% this season. Willis left way early on a 3rd down and long 6 play. Free play for the Broncos. It could be. We'll see if he was drawn offside as Wilhite gets down to the 25-yard line, but see what the referee calls here if he brings it all back.
Don Willis jumped, but so did Ken Lanier. When Willis came across the line of scrimmage, the Denver Broncos were in a 2-point stance. The offensive lineman can move. Once you put that hand down on the ground, then the defensive lineman can't move. Let's see what Gene Barth has to say.
We have offsetting fouls. We got defense 93 offside, illegal motion on offensive right tackle. We'll replay the down. 3rd.
So we have a push. They come back and do it over again. 3rd down and a long 6 for the Denver Broncos.
That was a 21-yard pickup on a little shovel pass to Wilhite up the middle. Everyone kind of stopped, so you can't really say it was a big play.
Paul Zimmerman.
Don, I think it's a matter of time before the Steelers are going to start blitzing. When they're rushing 3 and giving Elway time, I don't care how many guys they've got in coverage, he'll find somebody.
Right now, Elway's sending 2 people out wide to the right. Elway throwing on the run, but he overthrows a wide-open Gerald Wilhite down at the 25-yard line. Wilhite getting inside the zone, but Elway off the run, as you see, a little bit long, and so the Bronco drive stalls, and they'll punt the ball.
Don, they had David Little down in the line as the 4th rusher. He came up with coverage on Wilhite, and it was just overthrown.
Lewis Lips, a game breaker, is back now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And ready to punt now for the Denver Broncos is Chris Norman, averaging just under 42 a punt. The best in the business, or at least in the American Conference, Lewis Lips, and he rarely fair catches. Well hit ball. Lips will let it go in if it bounces that way, and it does for a touchback. So the Steelers will get their 2nd possession of the game after a 47-yard punt into the end zone. 1st and 10 for the Steelers at their 20 when we come back with no score. Back at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where the Steelers are a dominant team on their home field, as you see. There's 7:29 to play in the first quarter. No score. Only Only 3 times in 16 years that they lost 2 straight. Steelers were beaten last Sunday by the Washington Redskins.
Here's an interesting quirk, though. During the 80s, they're 29-13, but they're 4-5 against AFC West opponents.
First down and 10 now for David Woodley. Here's a handoff to Pollard, and he takes it across the 25 out to the 27-yard line. So the Steelers get a good run going at the right side of the Bronco defense. Cornerback Mike Harden came up to make the stop. The Patriots, a contender in the AFC East, have moved in front of Indianapolis 7-0. Tony Eason threw to Irving Fryer for 6 yards and a touchdown.
On that last run by the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's the single play that must work. It's that weak side underneath handoff trap play that Pittsburgh has run since the early 70s.
Second down and 2 coming up. They love to trap block. Pollard dips to the outside. Broncos are waiting for him, and they shut him down on 2nd and a long 2 short of the first down. So it'll bring up 3rd down and about 1.5 yards to go. They have to get out to the 30-yard line for the first down. On the stop was Rick Dennison for the Broncos.
Well, so far, the Denver Broncos have done exactly as they wanted. Make that rushing yardage come tough.
You may recall in the playoff game last December at Mile High Stadium, Pollard had a big day running the ball at the Broncos. Abercrombie ran well also, as the Steelers dominated the game with their ground play. Here is a handoff to Todd Spencer, a big free agent back from Southern California. Powers is way ahead across to the 32-yard line. It's a first down for Pittsburgh.
So far, the only guy to run the ball, Frank Pollard for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Watch the hit here. Pollard goes inside, and he meets Steve Busick, and Pollard puts Busick right back on his back. 5 carries now, 15 yards for Pollard.
First down and 10 for the Steelers. No score in the first quarter. David Woodley gets a lot of time, loops a long ball. John Stallworth he dropped another one at the 37-yard line. Stallworth 2 open plays, and twice he's dropped the ball.
That ball was not tipped by Harden either.
Right now we have 5:35 to play in the first quarter. As you take a look again.
Good play action fake. Reuben Carter finally gets in there. This ball is not tipped by Harden. Woodley really couldn't follow through to the point where he could get it strongly to John Stallworth, and that's a catchable ball.
John Stallworth, consummate professional. He is to the Steelers what Watson is to the Bronco offense. Here's a run by Abercrombie. He's going to break it for a first down, and Morris, he's out on the dive to the 48-yard line. 16-yard gain by Walter Abercrombie, a former #1 draft choice out of Baylor. And the Steelers move the ball, running it.
Big assist to Ray Penny, the offensive left tackle. Comes to the near side. He does a great job on Simon Fletcher. See him cave that man down in there. Then Abercrombie, with great speed, is able to turn it up. That's the play that the Denver Broncos are going to have to stop. That's the play that they got to stop.
Have not so far on this drive, as now the Steelers, with wide receivers set to either side, go 1st and 10. Woodley looks at Stallworth, comes in high, and Mike Harden puts the hit on at the same time. Oh, it's an incomplete pass again. David Woodley now putting 3 up. He's 0 for 3, but 2 should have been caught, and all 3 have gone to Stallworth.
That is correct. I don't blame him for going to Stallworth. Giants over Cleveland now, 7-0. Joe Morris on a 3-yard run.
So now with 4:48 to play in the first quarter, the Pittsburgh Steelers have the ball at their 49-yard line. 2nd down and 10 coming up. Lewis Lips, ever dangerous, goes wide to the right. He scored already this season 11 touchdowns, 9 on pass receptions. Near side throw. One receiver fell down. Aaron Bird coming out of the backfield. Again, he was looking over towards Stallworth. So it's an incomplete pass, and now while we have a moment, look.
Don, we got a penalty on Denver here. Steve Busick, contact on Rich Ehrenberg, gives the Pittsburgh Steelers an automatic first down.
So there was a reason he fell down.
Absolutely. Their feet got tangled up. I don't think he was pushed, but the ball was in the air. That's pass interference, and Pittsburgh keeps the drive alive.
And the ball on the penalty call against the Broncos is moved down to the Denver 46-yard line. 1st down and 10 with no score in the first quarter. 4:44 to play in it. Pollard doesn't get a thing. Frank Pollard is knocked down by Fletcher and Mecklenburg. Cincinnati has now extended its lead over Houston to 14-0. Kennebrew, the big fullback, 260 pounds, has been in the end zone twice for the Bengals. Everybody a contender in the AFC Central. Only one game separating the four teams.
Don, you can see on that particular sweep, Mecklenburg across the line of scrimmage there to make the tackle. They stopped that weak side underneath handoff sweep that time.
Steelers, a tough team to beat in Three Rivers. The Browns are 0-16 here, but Denver's done well over the years, winning 3 of 5 regular season games. Here's a loop pass coming out of the backfield is Abercrombie, but this is going to come back as there are penalty markers down in the Steeler backfield, right where Woodley threw the ball back at the 44-yard line.
Holding, 73
Gene
offense,
Barth with the holding
10-yard
call against the
penalty.
Steelers,
We'll
stopping the
replay
clock
second
with
down.
3:59 to play.
Craig Wolfley caught, and the Denver Broncos staying with that 4-man front. Primarily a 34 team. Joe Collier, the defensive coordinator, assistant head coach of the Denver Broncos, staying with the 4-man front. He wants Woodley to throw the football.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the National Football League is prohibited. Now, touchdown for Woodley and the Steeler offense. The Broncos will be a coming. A long yardage play, a swing pass out. Ehrenberg has it in a block. He's over the 50. He's still going, and he's down to the 39-yard line. Spout him out at about the 40. He'll be short of the first down. An 18-yard gain, though, and it brings up second down, third down, and 3.
One of the things the quarterback has to be on his screen is a good actor. Now watch Woodley. He'll look all over the place. See, he's looking left. He knows he's going back for the screen. He's great offensive lineman of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Get out there. Wolfley a good block. Webster a good block. Ehrenberg, excellent job.
So David Woodley, Trump, seems to be in good health as he is now started to move the Steelers. Had some early drops by Stallworth, which is rare. Now third down and about 4 where they have the ball spotted. Coming up for Pittsburgh, it is a scoreless first quarter so far. He's hit a well-defended play by Mike Harden of the Broncos. Knocks him down short of the first down at the 39-yard line.
Broncos, Don, lining those cornerbacks and safeties right up on the line of scrimmage. As Chuck Noll now considers, do you go for it, do you punt, or do you place kick? Newsom coming on. Anyway, the coverage by the Denver Broncos, bump and run all along the line of scrimmage, at least making it tough for the receivers to get off the line of scrimmage. That time Harden right there to stop Ehrenberg for little or no gain.
Newsom, the rookie punter, standing back now at his 47-yard line. Gerald Wilhite back for Denver. Angle punt. Well hit's going to carry in. So a touchback on the punt into the end zone, 39 yards, and it'll come out to the 20-yard line. First down and 10 for Denver when we come back with nothing as yet. Nothing on the board as we're late in the first quarter now. Paul Zimmerman, the Steelers seem to be showing a more diverse offense than they have in recent weeks. Woodley's looking pretty sharp.
Well, he's having some tough luck. The Broncos are defying them to throw the ball. They're going with a 4-3, and the linebackers they have in there are run stoppers. They have Dennison and Busick. They've taken out Tommy Jackson. He hasn't played. He's a coverage guy. Ryan is out. They're defying them to throw the ball, and they're having tough luck throwing it.
Right now, the Broncos have to go from deep in their own end. Here's a fire out, and Elway makes a strike out to the 26-yard line. Steelers think they have the ball, but they're going to rule the man was forward. The forward progress was stopped at the 26-yard line, and so it'll be a down ball there.
Ryan Hinkle was trying to tear that ball loose from the receiver and almost got it done. That was darn close. Winder with a good catch, and it does appear that the Denver Broncos are using good patience here. Watch his catch. Watch Hinkle. That is a real arm wrestle for that football. They are trying desperately to get it away. Couldn't quite get it done.
Brian Hinkle, one of the underrated outside backers in the American Conference. Number 53. John Elway now with a 2nd and 4 play call coming up. Might have changed off as he checks with his runners. Lang and Winder in there, and Sammy gets the ball, and Sammy Winder losing his footing as he cut back, but still looks like he has a first down to the 30.
We got an injury too. Looks like Keith Willis is coming off, hurt his left shoulder.
Now we have a moment to Back to Three Rivers. We're set to go now. First and 10 as the Broncos did get the first down on the carry by Sammy Winder. Right back to Winder. A penalty marker is down, and so is Sammy Winder at the 30-yard line. He got nothing, trying to go wide left on the Steelers. Very quick linebacker David Little, number 50, came across to get him, and here's a holding call signaled against Denver.
We got 2 flags. One on this side of the field, one on the other side of the field. They might both be against the Broncos.
We have offsetting penalties. Offside, 95 defense, holding, number 60 offense. Will
John Goodwin lined up offsides. So it's a wash. There's Keith Willis. Done something to his shoulder on that previous run by Sammy Winder to the near side of the field. Took on the guard pulling Keith Bishop. They have popped his shoulder.
Possibility of a pinched nerve, we're informed now. With 1:28 to go in the first quarter, no score. Broncos have the ball at their 30. First down over again. Elway firing again hard, but that time it was overthrown to Clarence K. Watson was running the deep pattern, and Elway ends the play on his back again as the Steelers are popping him just as he releases.
Clarence K. slipped ever so slightly on the break. And of course, the quarterback against a very, very tight coverage team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, you want to lead that player as best you possibly can in the slip. That resulted in the incompletion. John Elway, 3 of 6, 31 yards.
Second down coming up at the 30-yard line. No score late in the first quarter. Free ball, Steelers after it. Broncos get it. Sammy Winder fell on it, but he puts the Broncos in jail at the moment as third down will arise from their 16-yard line.
John, it never appeared that John Elway got that ball from Billy Bryant. Watch again on the snap. See, he pulls right away. And then the ball, sometimes it bounces for you. Sometimes it bounces with you. The guy who invented this game, when he put the football with points on it, he was an absolute genius.
Makes it interesting.
Genius.
When it's on the floor, it does draw a crowd. Now the Steeler fans start up as Elway will have to throw deep. On third down and 22, he'll take the shotgun snap inside his 15. Elway rifles one out, but Brian Hinkle is right there to defend. Vance Johnson is hit as soon as he caught the ball. Way short of the first down, and Denver will punt the ball.
And once again, that full coverage by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Elway not even thinking of going deep.
You were pointing out, Trump, that deep zone of Pittsburgh's does give up some passing yardage, but it's all up front, nothing deep, and Elway had to go a long way there.
They let those receivers catch it, then they absolutely hammer the receiver as they make the reception.
So that's the end of the first quarter of play, and still no score on the referee. Gene Barth in his working outfit, a veteran National Football League referee, as on a perfect day in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You don't get many of those on December 1. The Steelers and the Broncos are scoreless as we head into the second quarter of play. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy, Paul Zimmerman also with us today. Three Rivers sold out for years like Mile High Stadium in Denver. Broncos ready to punt the ball. Norman standing back, and Lewis Lips has not caught a punt in his last 21 tries. He's standing back now for the Pittsburgh Steelers at his 32. Not that deep. Gary's near sideline. There's also a penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage. A 29-yard punt. Might have been a Bronco downfield early to boot. That's the signal. Somebody left on the flank was too far downfield.
Gee, I think you take the punt. Take the punt.
I think they will.
Number 48, the kicking team, illegally downfield, penalty refused. First down, Pittsburgh.
Man illegally downfield, and so the Steelers get the ball again, but this time their best field position to start at their 46-yard line. Last December, they've only got 6 yards to date, Trump.
Yeah, well, so far we've got no breakouts. Both teams showing good patience, which is certainly an excellent idea when you're playing quality opponents like this. Now, you've got to be patient.
Woodley's trying to get some on first down as he gets his man down at the 40-yard line. That time, John Stallworth sliding in and coming back at the ball with gloves on makes the play, and it's a first down for Pittsburgh just inside the 40-yard line of Denver.
One thing you'll notice about the Pittsburgh Steelers all day long is their play action passing every single time. That's a 17-yard pickup by John Stallworth, his first catch of the day now. That's why they got to run the ball, to allow them to play action fake, hold those linebackers at the line of scrimmage.
David Woodley comes in with only a 47 quarterback rating, but he had trouble early in the year. Has played well in the recent game. That time he loses it. That could be a free ball. His arm wasn't going forward. Steelers get it, and they get a gain of about 4 yards. Music of the Broncos, 58, had a play on it, but couldn't get to the ball, and it's recovered by the very quick Lewis Lips. So what could have been imminent disaster for the Steelers turns into a bit of a gain.
Both times the ball's been on the ground, once for Denver and once for Pittsburgh. It's bounced in favor of the team that's dropped it. Mecklenburg on the hit. No doubt at all that that is a fumble. Lips very nicely scoops it up. The Steelers have lost the fewest fumbles in the NFL to this point, just 5.
Calvin Sweeney goes wide to the left side now. Lewis Lips is on the right flank. It's second down and a long 6 coming up. Pollard with a blocker out in front. Penny gives him some help, but a superior play by Simon Fletcher. A 6'4", 250-pound rookie from Houston. They like him a lot. Came in the second round of the draft. A look at the scoreboard. New Orleans leading Los Angeles now 6-0 on 2 Morton Anderson field goals. Rams having trouble, albeit still in the lead in the NFC West. Patriots in Indianapolis tied as McMillan ran for a yard and a touchdown. The Bays are scoreless. Tampa Bay and Green Bay. David Woodley dropping on the 3rd and 7 play with no score on the board early in the second quarter. Nice defensive play, but now a flag comes in after it. Mike Harden seemed to be right on time with his hit, but the official right there says no, that it was a foul. It'll be a first down for the Steelers inside the 20-yard line of Denver.
He had the hand out in front of Lips, the left hand, but the right hand was on the back of Lips's body.
31 defense, first down.
First down, Pittsburgh. Denver staying with that 4-man rush. And at the end of this reception, the right arm, you can see the official back there looking right at it. Left arm looks legal. Right arm, contact. That's a 17-yard penalty. Biggest play of the day for either team.
Calvin Sweeney's in the game. He's on the left flank now for the Steelers. Lewis Lips on the right flank. No score on the board, but the Steelers challenging. Deepest penetration by either team. Abercrombie. Down inside the 15-yard line. Walter Abercrombie got about 5. Knocked down on the play by Rick Dennison.
Don, I noticed that Terry Long is in the lineup at right guard for the Steelers.
Now to NFL. X was on the money with that one. So an X next to the Bengals name at the outset of it as a pick to win today. Right now, the Steelers on 2nd down and 5 go to a dive play and get the ball down to the 10-yard line inside the 10. They'll place it at the 8. Steve Foley and Rick Dennison were on the stop on the play. Frank Pollard getting ahead.
So far, the Pittsburgh Steelers, look at that stat, 18 times, 18 straight times inside the 20.
Here's where the well-schooled Bronco defense gets especially tough, though. First down and goal, Pittsburgh. Not much there as Abercrombie on a slant play is thrown right back. Simon Fletcher was on the play along with Barney Chavis. Game clock ticking down to 11:08 to play in the first half. Still no score on the board. The Steelers with their first threat of this game.
An interesting thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Denver using that 4-man front. They're keeping Reuben Carter on Mike Webster. This is a very good trapping offensive line. If you take somebody off the center, they're going to trap right up the middle. Here's the opportunity right here.
Harking back to what the Denver defensive coordinator Joel Collier said during the week to his players, unless you stop their run, you'll not beat the Steelers. Right now, Woodley's going to throw.
He can run.
He's got room to run, but he puts it up and it's slapped away. David Woodley had an open track. Those linebackers were all set to come up and put a big pop on him if he went. He has not been in the best of health in the last 10 days, so he threw it and it was Zusi incomplete.
Intended for Lewis Lips. Steve Wilson on the coverage.
That's stop the clock with 10:33 to play. Cleveland now has put up a couple of touchdowns, one on a Kevin Mack run of 42 yards, another on a 3-yard run by Ernest Biner, and the Browns have come from behind to take a 14-7 lead on the Giants. Third down and goal from the 7-yard line. David Woodley throws. He had Aaron Berg open, but you see came in high. Now the guy who's been the prime mover in the Pittsburgh scoring in the recent weeks, place kicker Gary Anderson, comes out. He has kicked 12 straight field goals for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is the leading scorer again this year in the American Conference. He's led the conference in scoring now for 3 straight years. From Syracuse University, born in South Africa, he's a long-range hitter. Anderson has been phenomenally consistent, looking to extend that to 13 straight field goals. 25-yarder is up and good, so the scoreless tie is broken. Gary Anderson's field goal from 25 gives Pittsburgh a 3-0. Gary Anderson, who just hit a 25-yard field goal to give Pittsburgh the first points of this game. It's 3-0 Steelers with 10:26 to play in the first half. Ready to kick it off now. See the deep men. Vance Johnson's back with Gene Lang. Well hit into the end zone. Gene Lang elects not to bring it out, so the Broncos take the touchback and will go from their 21st and 10. Broncos with only 6 yards rushing so far in the game. John Elway in the offense coming out looking to open it up now. Maybe they'll go deep before long.
Well, I don't know that they can stand there and try to throw the ball against this Pittsburgh defense. You're going to have to run the ball to establish some control at the line of scrimmage, or what's going to happen is you're going to have 9 guys back in coverage, and no quarterback can thread that small a needle.
Let's see if he tries to hit it deep on first down. Pittsburgh in its conventional defense. John Elway play faking, rolling out. He is looking deep, and he throws a strike to Watson out to the 31-yard line. Lost the ball out of bounds. Is it ruled incomplete? Apparently it is. So he did go on first down with the throw, catching the Steelers in their conventional defense. They'll go with as many as 6 defensive backs. New England now leading Indianapolis 10-7. Tony Franklin kicked the field goal, 35 yards. And the Packers on a Lynn Dickey short run. The quarterback went in for the Packers, and they lead 7-0 over Tampa Bay. Now Elway with a tougher down. 2nd down and 10. Winder. First down, Denver. Sammy Winder picked a spot in that zone defense, Trump, and John Elway put it right on the 2 and the 3.
Rick Woods was the closest man in coverage. You got to admire Denver now in this situation, not trying to get the ball down the field, going to the running backs. Good pass protection up front. And Winder, just a short little 7-yard completion, turns it into a first down.
Denver with only 8 yards rushing so far. Sammy Winder has 7. Lang has 1. The throw by Elway gets 4 new downs for the Broncos, who trail 3-0. Second quarter. Gene Lang, a hard-working back from LSU, takes it ahead. Came in having scored 7 touchdowns this year for the Broncos. Gained over 300 yards, a per-carry average of just under 4. Keith Willis, the defensive left end, was on the stop for Pittsburgh. Denver's had a problem in the 3rd quarter. Dan Reeves' team so far this year has not scored in the 3rd quarter in its last 5 games. Something up now. They've not done well coming out after the intermission. Here's Elway against an all-out blitz. Eludes it, throwing on the run, and the coverage is excellent. Now a penalty marker comes in. Watson coming back at the bottom of the 41-yard line of Pittsburgh was struck hard from behind. On the official rules, it was an early hit before the ball got there. So a penalty call on this one is going to go against the Steelers.
31 defense, first down.
How about that move by Elway? Did you see that? Bob Coors was all over John Elway on a planned rollout. He bought himself a little more time. Watch from behind. Donnie Shell in coverage on Watson, who last time these two teams met had 11 catches. I certainly want to shut him down today. That's the Denver Broncos' biggest play of the day. Same is true for Pittsburgh, both on penalties.
Steve Watson had a career day in that playoff game. Caught 12 for 177 yards last December. But it wasn't enough as Pittsburgh won the playoff game. Now Broncos going to the run. Steve Sewell, their #1 draft choice in the game for the first time, takes it inside the 40. First round draft choice from Oklahoma. He can play a lot of positions. They can use him as a runner, as a wide receiver. I think he could end up as a Pro Bowl quality tight end because he's getting bigger.
Got such great speed, too. You can do so many things with him. Very similar to Walter Abercrombie. Wouldn't you agree, of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Doesn't have the same size, but he does do all the diverse things you need in a fullback. Right now, Will Height angled out to the right as a slot back. Denver showing some new formations in this drive. Elway on 2nd and 7. A little bit long for Gerald Wilhite down at the 30-yard line.
Donnie was uncovered, too.
He was. Clock stops. 8:07 to go in the first half, and the Steelers continue to lead this tight game 3-0. The local papers had the Steelers a 1-point favorite coming in.
We got a message from the Pittsburgh Steelers bench. John Stallworth has a pulled calf muscle and may not return.
We haven't seen him since he caught that ball coming back at it. Elway now 5 for 10, throwing the ball for 51 yards. Blitz, they pick it up, and Vance Johnson breaks it. He's down to the 31-yard line. On a 3rd down play, he's just short of the first down. Rick Woods, the cornerback, saved him going a long way. Vance Johnson, the fastest Bronco maybe ever. Just a superb athlete. Was an NCAA long jump champion also as a collegian.
And they got what they wanted in coverage. Single coverage on Vance Johnson. Rick Woods makes a spectacular tackle in the open field. And Denver's got to resort to the field goal by Rich Carlos.
Rich Carlos comes in with 20 hits and 32 field goal attempts this year. He's missed 3 extra points out of 33 tries. It's not been his usual consistent self. 63% now.
Yes.
4th down and 2. They're going from a straight formation. They're not going to try the field goal.
Too much time. Chris Norman in the ballgame. Too much time.
Number 7 offense. 5-yard penalty.
How about that?
They'll make it a little bit longer as we see Carlos now coming out. They had the field goal team ready. And that way quickly put his team into formation. But too much time. The 30-second clock ran out, and it's ticking right now.
Don, that was Chris Norman at quarterback, trying to fool the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Fooled themselves.
So Norman will now punt the ball, standing back at his 49-yard line. There's Lewis Lips ready to return it for the Steelers. Norman's been hitting it into the end zone, though, at least the last drive. Big rush. Long hit. Ruled a touchback, and the ball comes out to the 20-yard line. A 36-yard punt by Chris Norman, but a 16-yard net. Not what you want. 1st and 10 Steelers. The running game, all important in that playoff loss to Pittsburgh last December. The Broncos were outrushed 3-1. Today they've been outrushed over 4-1. 58 yards rushing for the Steelers, just 13 for Denver. Woodley, home run ball. Lewis Lips going for it, and it might be intercepted. Let's see who they come up with. They're going to rule it an interception by Steve Wilson of the Broncos. So he turns in the long ball catch on the other side for Denver, and the Broncos send their offense right back out.
19th interception thrown by Pittsburgh quarterbacks throughout this season. And the 14th interception for the Denver defense. Woodley forced this one. There was good coverage on Lewis Lips trying to get it deep. Steve Wilson right in stride with Lewis Lips, which is no small feat. First turnover of the ball game for either team.
So the Broncos have their offense right back out. Denver trailing 3-0, 6:36 to play in the first half. Down the middle. Simpson has the ball for the Broncos. He's ahead for a Denver first down. A 13-yard gain straight ahead. Sampson getting more playing time. Now is his 15th reception of the season. GC averages 19 yards a catch.
Eric Williams on the coverage. Interestingly, the Pittsburgh Steelers bid on that play action fake. And you just mentioned the lack of rushing yardage by the Denver Broncos, just 13 yards. Surprising that the linebackers would bite and bite so strongly.
Elway has hit some big throws earlier in the game. The Broncos have not been in range yet. They trail 3-0. Big rush, wing pass, well executed. The Gene Lang running the ball, get it out to the 49-yard line, a gain on the play of about 4. Robin Cole, a veteran inside linebacker, and David Little, another backer on the stop for the Steelers.
To this point, Don, it has not been easy for either team to gain yardage. Both of these defenses I put in the top 5 you can find in the NFL. Look at that. Against the pass, once again, 60% complete by opponents, but for very little yardage.
Bears #1 in total defense. John Elway now 8 of 13 for 73 yards for Denver. Winder gets room, and Sammy Winder breaks it. And he's all the way down to the 34-yard line of Pittsburgh. As Sammy Winder, a remarkable comeback story. 10 days ago, arthroscopic knee surgery, missed 1 game, and he starts today. And the Broncos finally get a big run, a 17-yard gain.
That's their biggest run of the ball game. Watch what happens. Gary Dunn jumps around. They're running a game up there. Then a good block on the linebacker on the inside. Winders into that defensive backfield. I find it hard to believe that 12 days ago that kid had a knife on his knee. That is remarkable.
Again, a 1st and 10 for the Broncos. They trail 3-0. Elway gets his man. Sammy Winder is down inside the 25-yard line. Rick Woods ran him out of bounds. Winder running like there was never anything done to his knee. Now the underdog Cleveland Browns, a co-leader in the AFC Central with the Steelers, have extended their lead over the Giants to 21-7. Al Gross, a defensive back for Cleveland, ran back an interception, 37 yards. The Bengals still a contender in the AFC Central, leading 28-0. The biggest fullback in the game, Larry Kennebrew, scored 3 touchdowns today for Cincinnati. New Orleans under its new coach, Trump, Wade Phillips, on the phone.
You're forgetting William Terry. You mentioned the biggest fullback in the game.
Right. He's an all-purpose back. John Elway takes a look. Loops it long. Sampson's there. It's a touchdown for the Broncos.
No flags.
24 yards, a perfect play for Denver. Sampson breaking off, turning out. Elway read and led him, and the ball was right there for a perfect strike. And so all of a sudden the Broncos get the drive they were looking for, and the big plays in it. 17-yard run by Sammy Winder, and then the 24-yard strike by John Elway to Sampson.
You see the blitz. Mike Merriweather on the blitz. It looks like single coverage all the way. Dwayne Woodruff. Sampson puts a nice move on him, gets to the outside. That's a strike thrown by John Elway. Sampson has 15 catches now, 4 touchdowns.
Lead 2 catches today and a 4th touchdown pass reception this season. Elway's numbers building up impressively as Carlos delivers the extra point. John Elway is 10 of 15 throwing the ball for 107 yards and a touchdown. And the Broncos have taken a 7.
Steelers blitz. Hinkle at the bottom, 53. Merriweather at the top, 57. Picked up. Single coverage. Dwayne Woodruff can't stay with Sampson. And 6 points in the end zone.
So John Elway's 19th touchdown pass of the season puts the Broncos in front 7-3. And now they kick it off. Downfield it goes. At Spencer. Big back. Up the middle. Broncos go hunting the football but don't get it. He's out to the 27-yard line, and there it'll be Pittsburgh on offense, 1st and 10. So the Steelers have the dominance trump in the running game, which the coaches thought was all important. But Elway's right arm makes up for a lot of running.
Well, I'll tell you what, that run by Winder up the middle, the little trap play, really held the linebackers, put the defense in somewhat of a desperate situation. Ball on the plus side of the field. They came with the blitz. First time all-out blitz. Denver beats it.
Now let's see what Woodley does. Steelers, their only production from a point standpoint has been the 25-yard field goal by Gary Anderson. Pollard looks for 7. Those Broncos really hunt down number 30. Rick Dennison having a good game, filling in the middle. Made a straight-on hit in the knockdown, and Pollard's a little shaky getting up.
And the thing about it is, too, as long as Denver is able to stifle the Pittsburgh running game with a 4-man front, it's going to stay that way. You can see the matchup all along the line there. Good job by Mike Webster getting Greg Bregan out of there, but for very little yardage gained by Pollard.
John Stallworth, normally a starter, out with a leg muscle pull as David Woodley takes a look and guns it near side, and Lewis Lips artfully comes back at the ball, takes it at the 44-yard line, and they start yelling Lou here in Pittsburgh. A 16-yard gain and a Steeler first down.
Watch the move he puts on. Steve Wilson's the man in coverage, and watch what he does. At the point where Wilson thinks, uh-oh, this is a deep pattern, he turns. That's when Lipps makes his break. Well, that's just beautiful. Timing ball already on the way. 16-yard pickup easily accomplished.
Louis Lipps, an exceptional athlete, a #1 draft choice a year ago out of Southern Mississippi, a starter in the Pro Bowl. Comes into this game with 48, now 49 receptions. Scored 11 touchdowns this year. Right back at Lipps, but he can't hold on at the 44-yard line of Denver.
Don, in my opinion, they're setting Steve Wilson up here for a deep pattern. One thing a great receiver does is on every single play, whether he's the intended receiver or not, he must accelerate off the line of scrimmage like he's going for the end zone. Last two passes now, he's run very hard off the line of scrimmage, slowed down, and turned around for the reception. They're setting him up to go deep again.
19 yards a catch this season for Louis Lipps. He has to fight through a lot of double teams to get deep, though. Everybody doubles up on the man who was the NFL Rookie of the Year a season ago. Now Abercrombie breaks it. On a 2nd down and 10 play, he's down to the 47-yard line, and a penalty marker is also down.
Mike Harden on the tackle, holding Pittsburgh. The play will come back.
Holding offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty will replay the down.
Ray Penny, a veteran from Washington, playing a lot of football games in a row, Trump.
Sure
from
is.
the U.S. Football League.
I think this is his 31st straight football game. He's the only starting offensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers who was higher than a 4th-round draft choice, by the by.
Man down over the ball at center, Mike Webster, has been to 7 straight Pro Bowls. Number 52 ready to snap the ball to David Woodley on a 2nd down and 20 play for Pittsburgh. Bang, Woodley takes the full shot. Greg Cragen from Utah State comes blasting right up the middle, shed the block, and David Woodley took a very hard sack. Back at his 26-yard line. We'll watch again.
2nd sack of the day for the Denver offensive line. I don't think Pittsburgh expected to see this 4-man front this much. Boy, he goes right around Terry Long. Just kind of hand slaps him away. There to make the sack. It's 3rd and a fortnight now for Pittsburgh.
Long way to go for the Steelers. 3rd down and 28. The game clock winding down. 2:30 to play in the first half. The Broncos lead the game 7-3. They came from behind on John Elway's 25-yard touchdown pass, their last possession, to Clint Sampson. Woodley, 3rd and 28. Long ball, and Louis Lipps lets it go through his hands. He must have heard Mike Harden coming up behind him. Looked like it was going to be a sure hit to Louis Lipps. Doesn't let many get by him. Rarely misses. Sure hand in addition to his great athletic ability and his speed. Now they have to punt the ball again. Here's Harry Newsom in.
I'll tell you, one of the problems Pittsburgh now has with Stallworth out, they don't throw the ball to the tight end. They basically have one guy to go to, and that's Louis Lipps.
Denver defense getting tougher as this game wears on. Low punt. It'll come back at him. Vance Johnson, the 40.
Oh, goodness.
Johnson ran it back 14 yards. It was a 44-yard punt, but a line drive. Dirt Winston, 55, came down and made that hit, the veteran linebacker.
Boy, he parked him, too. From behind the punting team. That first step inside, Smith avoids the penalty, doesn't block, but watch Dirt Winston back from New Orleans. Ho! Hello, AstroTurf Riverfront, Three Rivers Stadium. My goodness.
Broncos with good position now, though. 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the first half. Denver leads the game 7-3. It's sold out Three Rivers Stadium, where the Steelers win almost 80% of the time. Lob throw. Sewell goes for the ball and hit one of the men trying to cover him. Dropping back was Robin Cole. And David Little also back, and it caught one of them right flush in the back. And so with 1:58 to play, there's a break in the action, and the Broncos in Sports Illustrated, they call you Dr. Z. What do you think Pittsburgh has to do now? Denver's started to take over this game.
I think Pittsburgh has to find more weapons. They're out of them. It's a windy day. Woodley can't get his ball to jive with this wind. Elway, who's a gun, can get it through the wind. That's the kind of advantage Namath always used to have as Shea. I think everything is Denver's way now. Woodley's has lost stalwart. They just don't have enough to beat him with.
Interesting observation. The wind could be a force that John Elway can contend with much better than his counterpart David Woodley. We'll see. Elway on 2nd and 10. Stands in. Oh, a hard ball, and he's got his man. Wilhite coming out of the backfield is across the 45-yard line. It is a first down for the Denver Broncos as Wilhite gets up with a hitch in his step. Well, no sooner said than Elway drills another one into it. So while Joe Wilhite is attended to, we'll be back with the score. They'll be talking to Lyle Alzado. Big Bad Lyle's on the shelf for the rest of this season, although he does a new commercial about every week. It's got to be well financially.
I've never come across anyone who on the field was so different than he is off the field.
He can talk, can't he?
Yeah, and he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
On the field, what a miserable. Take it away, Don.
I'm not sure they love him in Denver off the field. 1:49 to go, first half. Swing, a little shuffle pass to Gene Lang, and he breaks it way down inside the 30-yard line. So Elway, with some sleight of hand, puts a fake on and then shuffles the ball to Gene Lang. A 16-yard gain. That's a completed pass. Elway now 11 of 17.
12 of 17.
Here's the throw, a hard one, and this time it comes into the wrong side of Gene Lang. Second year back from LSU. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Broncos from the 27-yard line of Pittsburgh. Denver leads the game 7-3. A touchdown and a John Elway throw to Clint Sampson from 25 yards out. A perfect strike caught in the end zone.
Now we see Lang getting up limping a little bit. We got Wilhite on the sideline, and the guy who underwent arthroscopic surgery 11 days ago, the healthiest of the three.
Lewis Wright, starting corner and a 4-time Pro Bowler for Denver, out for the game with an injury. Both teams losing troops. Here is an up snap, goes to Sewell. It was a shotgun formation, and the direct snap intentionally went to Steve Sewell. He runs it ahead on 2nd down for not much, as the Steelers weren't fooled. David Little made the knockdown, and a timeout is called. 1:19 to play in the first half.
Watch this. Looks like Sewell almost takes it right away from John Elway, but you're right. It was designed. They couldn't get a man on Gary Dunn. He offsets on the center's nose, and you never really know where Gary Dunn is going to go. He was there to almost take that snap from the center.
So it brings up 3rd down and 7. We're set to go again. The Denver Broncos tied with the Raiders at 8-4. The outset of the day, the Raiders a late start today. They'll play at Atlanta. Scheduling the rest of the way is interesting. It always is down the stretch run of the season. The Broncos go back to Mile High to play the Raiders next Sunday. And then they hook up with Kansas City at Denver on a Saturday afternoon. Conclude on a Friday night at Seattle. The Raiders hook up with Atlanta. And, of course, the game at Denver next week. Play Seattle at Los Angeles. And then the Raiders go against the L.A. Rams at Anaheim. Cincinnati laying waste to Houston as the Bengals staying in the hunt in the AFC Central. 3rd and 7 for Elway and the Broncos. Late in the first half. Elway lost his footing. He was hit from behind trying to go to Butch Johnson as he fell forward. So it brings up 4th down, and Carlos and the field goal team come out.
Keith Willis with pressure on John Elway. That 3-man pass rush of the Pittsburgh Steelers flushed him just enough that he couldn't set up and put real zip on the football. Elway now 12 of 20, 135 yards and a touchdown.
Kubiak holding.
This will be a 43-yard attempt by Rich Carlos. Gary Kubiak at quarterback holds for Denver. Broncos lead the game 7-3. Kick is on the way. Looks like it's right there, and it is. So Rich Carlos officially has a 42-yard field goal, and with 1:08 to play in the first half, the Broncos extend their lead.
Pittsburgh has got to find some offensive weapons. They don't throw the ball to the running backs a great deal, although Ehrenberg has 28 catches for the season. Abercrombie 16 coming into the day. Pollard 12. They got to spread out their offense, try to get the ball down the field. Dr. Z?
I can only see one hope for Pittsburgh in this game, Bob. Tony Dungy has got to abandon that conservative strategy and just force things. He's got to go crazy on defense and pop the ball loose and give them cheap turnovers, because they're not going to do it with their offense.
And take a chance with a big play.
Take a chance, because they blitzed Donnie Shell on that last one. They came back with the blitzes right after the touchdown. They weren't afraid, and they got an incomplete out of it. And I think they've got to keep doing that and force turnovers. That's the only way they're going to get back in this game.
Okay, but Dr. Z, wouldn't you agree that anytime one team dictates to another team what they have to do, that other team is in trouble? That's what Denver's doing to Pittsburgh right now.
Unless the other team does it better than what they expect.
True.
Well, we'll see what unfolds now as Carlos kicks off a high spinning kick. He's not gotten distance on his kicks in the recent weeks. That one comes to the 12 where Ehrenberg runs it out. He's met head on as he gets to the 27-yard line. Woodard came down the field, made the head-on hit for the Denver Broncos, the leading tackler for Denver. 1:08 to play in the first half. The Broncos with a 10-3 lead after they initially trailed 3-0. Now the Steelers are forced into throwing and trying to go deep. Denver, I think Trump has had a double team on Lewis Lips most of the day because he's not been free long. He's caught the ball coming back at it.
And the thing that's really hurt Pittsburgh is with the 4-man rush. Now they got 3 men with Mecklenburg in there. Pittsburgh doesn't really know what Denver's going to do.
Howard heading for the sideline. And the 12th man stops the clock with 57 seconds to play. They boo the play, though, in Pittsburgh as the gain was only 3.
Yeah. See, Don, putting Mecklenburg with number 77 in that defensive lineup is a real bit of confusion to any team that they play. He's a defensive lineman in some sets. He's a linebacker in other sets. And offensive linemen generally have to identify guys in 70s, 60s, 80s, 90s. Those are my guys to pass block. But this guy at times is a linebacker. Now he's lined up as a pass rusher on the far side.
Guard Craig Wolfley's out for the moment with a sprained ankle. They expect him back. Here's a throw and a catch. With the ball is Calvin Sweeney. He's out to the 40-yard line. It's a first down for the Steelers, but the clock is ticking. 47 seconds as you see and winding down. Now the Steelers signal for and are allotted a timeout. 45 seconds to play.
Interesting that in the last 2 minutes of a half or a game, you see the officials go to the sideline at the 2-minute warning. They're asking the coach one thing: who do you want to call the timeouts? And it used to be that one guy in the last 2 minutes could call timeouts, and he was generally the quarterback. But so many quarterbacks got dinged and were lying there unconscious trying to get a timeout that they now have 2. For Pittsburgh, it's Mike Webster, the center, and David Woodley, the quarterback. And that time, Mike Webster called the timeout.
Joel Collier trimmed right down, the longtime defensive coordinator for the Broncos. That was Charles West he walked by before, the defensive backfield coach, pointing. Stan Jones in there.
Going to go back to the touchdown scored by the Denver Broncos. One of the few times the Pittsburgh Steelers came with a blitz. You see Watson in motion. Inside is Sampson. He puts an outstanding move on Dwayne Woodruff. It ends up being a 24-yard pass and catch, and the only touchdown of the first half.
45 seconds to go now in the first half for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're at their 41-yard line, trailing 10-3. Here comes the Bronco rush. Mecklenburg coming hard, a long ball. Reggie Thompson goes for it, but can't hold on at the 13-yard line.
That was close.
Big rangy wide receiver, 6'6", from Florida State. Almost had it. 39-yard try, but it comes up short.
One of the tallest receivers you'll find in the game, Willis Hope Thompson, at 6'6½". I'm told he is the tallest receiver in the game, and I'll tell you one thing, he should not have been open. With 39 seconds left and a full zone coverage, Joe Collier will have something to say to Mr. Wilson there. Don't let that kid get behind you.
One thing teams haven't had to concern themselves with, Trump, is covering tight ends on the Steelers. They've only caught 3 passes collectively in the first 12 games of the season. And Benny Cunningham is back. Here's a throw to Calvin Sweeney. He's inside the 40, down to the 37-yard line. First down Pittsburgh, and they stop the clock with 32 seconds to play in the first half.
That was well thrown by David Woodley. And Sweeney gets up limping a little bit. His prevent defense for a lot of football teams drives people crazy. 23 yards on the reception. You see from the right-hand side of the screen, this is well thrown by Woodley. This is a prevent defense. Man coverage underneath. Looks like Dennis Smith. Thank God for Mike Harden to make that tackle, or Sweeney goes all the way.
Got a long-range kicker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Gary Anderson has hit from 52 yards this season. He's hit his last 13 field goal attempts in a row. He leads the American Conference in scoring for a third straight year. So the Steelers are about in range, or very nearly, for Gary Anderson to hit it long if they can't get downfield farther.
But he's also with the wind. It's ever so slight breeze, but it is in his favor.
Steelers set with the lanky Weegee Thompson at the top of your screen on the left flank. Lewis slips at the lower portion. Rich Ehrenberg is out of bounds at the 21-yard line. So now the Steelers are in easy range for Anderson, but they want more than that with 27 seconds to play. That was a 15-yard gain on the play.
There you see the coverage, the defensive secondary. You got bump and run on the outside, guys. Ehrenberg just runs a nice little out pattern, and that's Dennis Smith in coverage behind him. Pittsburgh's done an outstanding job. They got the ball at their own 27-yard line. Now at the Denver 21.5.
Extra DBs in the game now. Daniel Hunter in. Robbins is in. Tony Lilly. As it's first down and 10 for Pittsburgh. Woodley gets some time, but not long. A free ball, and there's going to be a holding call on the play in addition, as Mecklenburg again came through, and so did Rulon Jones. Two players that, starting the day, had combined for 17 sacks for the Broncos.
Got a flag, too.
Might be a hit to the head. Broncos say the call is going to go, and so does referee Gene Barth against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Line of scrimmage was the 21-yard line.
That hurts. That really hurts. It's from the spot of the foul, too, I believe. That's going to be an expensive penalty against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It'll make it a very long field goal attempt. The bearded gentleman in the Steeler cap there is Mark Malone, who's now out 5 weeks with a dislocated toe. He started to throw this week. Could conceivably come in.
Pittsburgh left tackle.
But it's unlikely.
Refused. The ball was fumbled out of bounds on the 32-yard line. It's second down from the 32.
You see the game's up front. Mecklenburg from behind David Woodley. Second time he's got to him.
Fumble.
That is a fumble. And of course, Denver could not. Whoa, I don't know about that. They ruled that he did not retain possession, but Pittsburgh's ball, but it cost him about 12 yards.
Broncos take the play. Fumble resulting in a big loss, so now it's second down and 21. Woodley has a man. Ehrenberg slides in at the 15-yard line and calls timeout with 13 seconds to play.
That prevent defense. A lot of people say that that prevent defense allows teams to win. But the idea of the defense is you simply don't allow anyone behind you. But unfortunately, that puts the players in a mindset where we don't care if they catch it in front of us. Now, this is certainly Gary Anderson's range, no question about it. Hitting 13 straight. Got to think that this is a sure shot for Pittsburgh if they maintain possession. I'd look for a trap here, Don, by the Pittsburgh Steelers. A trap right up the middle.
Check out our guest here, Dr. Z. What do you think of this whole procedure at the point?
I think they were crazy not to blitz Mecklenburg again. Every time that guy comes in, something happens. Now they drop him back into coverage. He has time. What good is he doing in coverage watching Ehrenberg catch the ball? He's most valuable coming in there and forcing things. And then when things get tough, they drop him out. I can't understand that.
Catch by Ehrenberg brought the ball down to the 17-yard line with 13 seconds to play. First half. Denver Broncos lead the game, as you see, 10-3. Touchdown throw by Elway to Sampson. A field goal by Carlos. Third and a long 5 into the end zone. Ehrenberg can't hold on. Robbins was with him. Randy Robbins, second-year DB from Arizona, went high. And as you see, Ehrenberg is down. He's been playing with a thigh muscle pull. Gary Anderson comes out.
Man, what is this? Ehrenberger's their best receiver out of the backfield. Stallworth on the sideline. Single coverage. Ehrenberg almost beats that single coverage. Let's see if we can tell what happens. Boy, that's a nice stretch. I can't really tell what he did.
Robbins made him throw high. Randy Robbins was on the play, 48 for the Broncos. Ehrenberg coming off under his own power, but he's limping, playing with a badly pulled hamstring. Now a 34-yard field goal is set up. Scott Campbell is the holder. He's a backup quarterback for the Steelers.
And you got to like Gary Anderson's chances. Bronco opponents have yet to miss a field goal inside the 40-yard line against Denver this season. They're 17 for 17. This kid has kicked 13 straight, but they won't give it to him. He's going to have to make it.
He does with 9 seconds on the half. It'll be a 10-6 game. He's right up there and good. So the Steelers get 6 points in the first half on a pair of field goals by Gary Anderson. They now come back to within 4, and they'll kick it off with 5 seconds to play in the half. It's a 10-6 game.
Both teams have shown great patience. And of course, a lot of people who are Denver fans are now going to say, why in the world do you persist in running that prevent defense? I mean, it didn't prevent anything, but in fact it did. It kept them out of the end zone. They kicked the field goal. This may be the big play too. The sack. This counts as a sack by Mecklenburg on David Woodley. When the ball is loose, this is ruled no possession by Denver. But it looks darn close. He's got to have full control of it before he goes out of bounds. It's very tough to rule possession, but the official said no. It's Pittsburgh's ball at that point. It was a fumble.
And the Steelers subsequently turned it into a field goal. Zim?
Everything is going Pittsburgh's way. They're getting the bounces, they're getting the recoveries, they're getting the calls. The problem is they're not except for that drive there when Denver played layback and gave them the field goal, they're not getting the offense. In a day like this, you know, I don't know how Pittsburgh is going to find enough things to do.
Johnson runs the ball, and the clock down to 2 seconds to play in the first half, so the Broncos will run one play and out. It'll be halftime. Denver leading the game 10-6. You're not impressed then with the Steeler offense. Looked pretty diverse early as Woodley got a nice screen. He got a good run a couple of times.
I like their offense when Denver is playing that zone and giving them big holes and plenty of time to throw it, because I think anybody is going to move against an offense like that. But when there's pressure and when there's you know, really the need for a great throw and a great play, I haven't seen it.
Hard-hitting game, low on turnovers so far. Right now, the Denver Broncos come out with the ball at their 18-yard line. First down and 10 and just 2 seconds to play in the first half. That'll do it. Gene Lang runs the ball and runs out the clock. Dan Reeves and his Broncos head to the locker room. Looks like Dan Reeves is looking for a referee. He is.
He's going out to Gene Barth and say, hey, look, we think that was our possession up there. We saw it on the screen. They have the diamond vision here in Three River Stadium, and he's saying our guy had full possession. It resulted in 3 points for Pittsburgh.
In Denver, he gets the call.
Well, you may be right.
Well, he's going to work on it, Dan Reeves. It's Broncos winners of 8-4. 8 wins in 12 games so far this season. Only the San Francisco 49ers have a better regular season record over the last 2 regular seasons.
Once again, this fumble. Mecklenburg on the sack. The ball is loose. It is free and recoverable by either team. At what point and how do you rule possession? He must have it completely in his grasp before he goes out of bounds. It appears he does. But the officials rule that he did not have the ball. Is that Woodard on the recovery? Anyway, Pittsburgh gets 3 points.
So it's halftime. We'll be back with the halftime at the back of the end zone for a touchback. And so the Broncos will come out first and 10 at their 20-yard line to start from scrimmage in the third quarter.
I think a big factor in this second half is who's not here for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that is a big factor.
They are missing Ehrenberg. He's out with a pulled hamstring. They are missing John Stallworth. He's out with a pulled calf.
Wolfley won't play again.
Wolfley won't play. So Denver's defense can roll to Louis Lips every time.
With a run they go. Sammy Winder doesn't get much, fighting his way to about the 22 or 3 yard line straight ahead. Steelers knock it down with their inside backer. Keith Willis, the end, was also across to make the play. So it's going to be second down, and they'll call it 7 where they spot the ball at the 23. Now Gary Dunn's coming out. He's been playing on a bad ankle all season. The premier defensive lineman for the Steelers, coming off with another bad limp. Mark Catano goes in to play the nose tackle. Elway brings Watson in motion. Stanley Winder trying to go wide. A good defensive play by cornerback Rick Woods. Knockdown is made for no gain, so it'll be 3rd down and 7.
And they're dropping like flies. We got Wilhite with an ankle sprain for the Denver Broncos. Lewis Wright already out for the Denver Broncos, the cornerback. So it's a matter of who's going to be left to play the last quarter.
Game of attrition, particularly late in the season, when a lot of players come in with nagging injuries that are re-injured in the course of action, and now Steelers have lost 3 frontline players. Elway hit as he throws. It's incomplete, so it's 3 downs and out for the Denver offense on their first possession of the 3rd quarter. Steeler defense gets a standing salute at Three Rivers Stadium. John Elway goes off, and the punter Chris Norman comes on for Denver.
Keith Gary with the pressure hit Elway in the back just as he released the ball. Couldn't get it out, and that's 3 wasted plays. I would have expected more out of Denver in that situation.
Lewis Lips is back to return the punt as Norman's ready to hit it, standing ready for the snap inside his 10-yard line.
This guy can turn a football game around like that.
Lewis Lips taking 2 back for touchdowns this season. He'll run this one back from his 43. Good coverage, though, by the Broncos as they hem him in and throw him back. 34-yard punt, an 8-yard return. The Steelers go on offense as there's a Bronco down on the field.
He's moving his feet, so no matter what the injury is, that's always a good sign.
Yes, it is.
We know it's not a neck injury.
So while he's attended to, a break in the action will come back after this. Hutter, covering on the punt, took a hard block. Helmet got him in the head. He was knocked out, but he's all right. Now the Steelers go with their best start of a drive, best field position of the game. 49-yard line of Denver. Abercrombie. And he's brought down with Dennis Smith coming and getting him.
Don, watch this hit. Watch this hit. Hunter standing there. Can't pick up the number of the guy who hit him, but he hit him right flush in the temple. And he had a phone call. Phone was ringing. He didn't answer it till he got to the sideline. But he's all right.
At least he's better than he was.
Yes. They're asking him where he is, what day it is, what his number is, what his name is. He's not sure about anything.
Right now, the Steelers have a 2nd down, 13 play. Woodley against a big rush. Rulon Jones running him down, and the throw is just short. They set up a screen play that could have gone a long way had Woodley gotten the ball a little higher, but Rulon Jones took care of that. Cincinnati Bengals with a 28-13 lead over Houston now.
Houston is leading also, so excuse me, Cleveland is leading also, so his 2nd half now for Pittsburgh crucial. Look at there, those guys out, will not play the rest of the game.
Stallworth and Wolfley starters. Ehrenberg, a very important spot player who came into the game with 28 catches for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3rd down and 13. Woodley lofting a ball. It's short of Calvin Sweeney. A man, Ouija Thompson, is knocked down, and a penalty marker comes in. Steve Foley's clapping his hands like he thinks it's going to go against Pittsburgh.
I think it's going to go against Dennis Smith of the Denver Broncos. The way Pittsburgh's walking, it looks like they're discussing there, was the ball catchable.
Interference, 49 defense.
Dennis Smith.
Yep.
This time Denver once again with that 4-man rush. Mecklenburg on the line of scrimmage. A lot of people back here in the coverage. Smith right now at about the 45. There you see the contact. Arm on the arm. Officials ruled the ball might have been catchable. Interference call is good.
Good second look. Our producer today for NBC Sports is Steve Dans. Our director Andy Rosenberg, as the Steelers go 1st and 10 after the foul called against Denver. Good defense on the play. Coming up to make the hit was Mike Harden. Just as the ball came in, he freed it from Calvin Sweeney. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Trump.
Don, one of the things now that Pittsburgh faces is with Stallworth out of the ball game. Weegie Thompson and Calvin Sweeney are both good receivers, but they don't measure up to John Stallworth. So what Denver can do is roll their zones to Lewis Lips. Just simply take him out of the ball game. And look at the yardage there. Well, we need the receptions between 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers.
2nd and 10. Abercrombie looks for room to go, and he is hemmed in as the Bronco defense pursues him, then holds position as he cuts back. Marnie Chavis was waiting, and Dennis Smith ran him down from behind. A 7-yard loss on the play. So after a big effort to start the 3rd quarter by the Steeler defense, now the Denver defense comes out and takes command.
You know, you ask why they won't get their tight end into the offense in this day and age, and I wondered that myself. I watched him in a couple of patterns, and I saw why. I think I can run faster than Benny Cunningham.
Then he kind of relegated to an extra offensive tackle. He is set to the left as the tight end. Not having a great year. He's caught 2 balls all season. Big rush. Woodley eludes it, but only for a moment. A 4th sack by the Denver defense, and Mecklenburg was the man who got him.
Don Rulon Jones from the other side flushed him. Mecklenburg, his 3rd sack of the ball game. Watch from behind the offense. You see Jones outside of Terry Long, and then Mecklenburg there to make the tackle. Oh, they have really flushed David Woodley.
And it's still a 10-6 game as it was at halftime. Vance Johnson waits the punt. Newsom hits it downfield very high. Ball takes the Steelers skip out of bounds inside the 15-yard line of the Broncos, and there John Elway and the Denver offense will go 1st and 10 when we come back. A 36-yard sideline with re-injury of his sprained ankle. Very important and longtime member of the NBC broadcast family. Cameraman Lou Gerard went down with an ankle injury yesterday here at Three Rivers. Fortunately fractured it in 2 places, so we want to extend our very best wishes to Lou for a quick recovery as Elway throws, and Lang coming out of the backfield catches it, but not for much. He's out to the 16-yard line. Little was right there to pop him.
Mark Catano is now playing the nose for the Pittsburgh Steelers, replacing Gary Dunn. See him right there in the middle of all that mess on Billy Bryan. A good shove. This, I would say, is the most important drive of the ball game for the Denver Broncos. This is their worst field position to start a drive. The wind against them. You can't expect Norman to have a very big punt. They need 2 or 3 first downs here.
Broncos have not been a 3rd quarter team of late, have not scored a touchdown in the last 7 third quarters. They lead the game, does Denver, 10-6. Elway from his 5. Time running out.
Watson.
Looks like Clarence Kay has the ball out across the 25-yard line. If it's ruled a catch, and it is, it's a 1st down for the Broncos.
Oh, big play.
Elway bought himself some time.
Steve Watson was wide open, about 10 yards deeper than that. Watch this roll by Elway. Most coaches feel that once this kid gets out of the pocket, he's more dangerous than he is when he's standing in the pocket. He breaks a lot of rules, throws it late back into the middle of coverage, and still picks up the 1st down to Clarence Kay.
So the Broncos move it out, get a 1st down at their 27-yard line. 3rd quarter, Denver leads the game at 10-6 on an unusually warm December day in Pittsburgh. Winder coming out of the backfield. Woods playing strongly at right corner came up to break up the play. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy and Paul Zimmerman as we pause briefly for station identification. Now Gary Dunn Trump is back in the game, bad ankle and all.
We heard from the sideline that he could not play anymore, but he's back in there.
He didn't hear it.
Not every time you call a defensive back making a tackle being close to the play today, it's been Rich Woods, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's made a lot of plays. Elway taking a look. Incomplete at the 28-yard line. Sewell, the rookie from Oklahoma, coming out of the backfield. So it brings up 3rd down and 10 now for the Broncos at their 27-yard line. 9:32 to play in the 3rd quarter. Score stands as it was at the half. Denver 10, Pittsburgh 6. Both teams coming in and co-leaders in their respective divisions. The Broncos and the Raiders tied in the AFC West at 8 and 4. The Raiders in a late start go today at Atlanta. They're favored to win there.
Pittsburgh with 5 defensive backs, Don.
Crowd starts up. Elway guns it down, and the ball is broken up by Dwayne Woodruff. The best cover man in the Pitt secondary, who's been sidelined with nagging injuries, starting today, and he makes the big play on 3rd down, and now the Steelers will get it back in good field position.
Don, if Dwayne Woodruff doesn't hit this ball at the top of the screen, you see him, he chucks the receiver. Watch Donnie Shell, left-hand side of the screen. I think Shell's in a spot where he can just about make the interception. Watch him. Oh, no, he's saying, Dwayne, if you don't hit it, I got it. It was close.
And the ever-dangerous Lewis Lips standing back there at his 30-yard line. #1 punt returner in the American Conference. Not that deep a punt by Norman. Lips gets it on the run. And again, the Broncos with good coverage knock him down after a short gain. A 36-yard punt, a 7-yard return to the 45-yard line. Pittsburgh goes on offense in Saginaw, Michigan. Right now, the Steelers with only 2 field goals to show against this tough Denver defense take over 1st and 10. Steelers trailing 10-6. Long ball downfield. There's a strike. Well thrown ball by Woodley to Calvin Sweeney off the far flank. And Calvin Sweeney from Southern California runs under it for a 26-yard gain, and the Steelers start to mount a challenge against the Broncos.
Don, the Denver Broncos come with a double rotation zone. Corners up, safeties out. This is a perfect throw by Woodley. In back of Harden, in front of Smith. Oh, that is really putting it on the money. Big catch, Sweeney.
Pitch back to Abercrombie. He does turn the corner and takes on a defensive back and gets inside the 25-yard line. Steve Wilson, who had that spectacular first-half interception, came up to make the play for Denver. There's a good gain inside the 25-yard line, a pickup of 6 yards on the play. 7 where they spot the ball. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
Well, you have no idea how big a catch that was by Sweeney.
Nice throw, too.
They were absolutely trying to shut out Lewis Lips, and Sweeney comes up with a big catch, and now Pittsburgh has life.
They get some good people on Lewis Lips, including safety Dennis Smith, who's come across to double up on him. Here's a flat throw, and again Sweeney comes up with the ball. It's good for a 1st down. His forward progress was inside the 15-yard line. The clock's running in the 3rd quarter. 8:55 to play in it. The Broncos continue to lead 10-6, but now the Steelers are getting down close.
That was almost a disaster. David Woodley did not get that ball cleanly from the center. And Don, Steelers have scored 19 straight times when inside their opponent's 20-yard line. Watch this snap. Look at there. That thing is almost on the ground. Woodley grabs the back end of it. Still completes the pass for a 1st down.
Scored 19 straight times, but not many have been touchdowns. They've been stopped down close, and that's why Anderson has so many field goals. Abercrombie accelerating. He's to the 11-yard line. A gain of about 4 on the play. Steve Busick, inside backer for the Broncos, made the knockdown.
This kid's got great acceleration. Also a good eye for the blocks. Cut right inside that pulling guard's block. It's a big pickup.
Abercrombie out of Baylor was a #1 draft choice of the Steelers in 1982. Ball positioned, as you see, at the 11-yard line. Steelers trail the Broncos 10-6. Clock running. 7:50 to play in the 3rd quarter. A matchup of divisional co-leaders. They've not met since the playoffs of last December. Here's a throw and a breakup. It was Steve Wilson who broke up the throw. Lips claims he was fouled. The official right there says it was clean. Zimmerman.
Don, did you see Wilson's reaction? He looked at the official right away. I think he knew he did something wrong there.
Got away with one, though.
He hasn't done much wrong today. He's done a lot right. Steve Wilson in his 7th year from Howard University. And the game clock down to 7:41 in the 3rd quarter.
Just a little slant pass by Lewis Lips. He only has 1 catch on the day. Wilson all over him.
down and 7. Coming up for the Steelers, they trail by 4. A draw play, and Pollard takes it down close to the 5-yard line. Woodard threw him back. Tony Lilly was also on the play. Big Barney Chavis off the bottom of the pile.
Here comes Anderson again. Coming into this ball game, in the last 5 games, Gary Anderson has scored 41 points. The rest of the team just 48.
He's got 6 more today. He's been the offense today, at least the point production. Now trying to make it a 1-point game. He can cut the Broncos lead to 1. 24-yard field goal attempt on the way and drilled up and through. And so with 7:02 to play in the 3rd quarter, a 3rd Gary Anderson field goal brings the Steelers back to within 1. David Woodley, a respectable day, and certainly they trumped that very important throw to Calvin Sweeney that subsequently set up the field goal. Was a big part of the last drive, as the Steelers, with only 3 field goals to show for their point production, all by that man Anderson, is now down by 1. A long kickoff downfield. It's going to be into the end zone, and Gene Lang elects not to bring it out. So the Broncos will go 1st and 10 from their 20 with 6:57 to play in the 3rd quarter. That was good. Thank you, Ahmad. Your old team from stand and call, at least today. They're only a game back in this division of the AFC Central at the start of the day. Crowd making it tough for Elway and the Bronco offense to call signals. Sammy Winder, quick move. It's just remarkable how he's come back from that arthroscopic knee surgery. Now the Giants have come from behind. They were down to 21-7 to Cleveland. They've come back to take a 23-21 lead. Eric Schubert just kicked a field goal, but he also missed an extra point. It could be expensive by day's end. Philadelphia looking to go to 7-6 on the season. The Vikings are injured, and they've not been winning. They've lost 3 straight going into that one. New Orleans leading the favored Rams. And the Broncos with the ball, 2nd down and 6, holding to a 1-point 3rd quarter lead. Elway. Fastball, 1st down throw out to the 33-yard line. Vance Johnson coming back at the ball. He's not big, but what athletic ability. At Arizona, he long jumped 26 feet 11.5 inches. That was the best in the NCAA.
And this kid's a rookie. He does a great job here. You'll see him right behind Hinkle, right in the middle of the screen. When Hinkle turns around, he realizes where the dead spot is, turns around. Elway gets the ball right to him, just enough for a 1st down.
Vance Johnson, there he is, the fastest man in the last draft and the fastest Bronco ever, as the Broncos on 1st down power the ball at the right side of the Steeler defense for not very much. Darrell Sims, the #1 draft choice of Pittsburgh '99, starting to play better. Weren't quite sure what they had at the start of this man's career. Didn't do much.
Hoping for the best out of him. Chuck Noll, a real taskmaster too. When you don't do your job, he lets you know about it.
Tell you one thing, he looks like a football player. Big, very fast.
Pittsburgh now with a 4-man front. Dunn and Catano in there on the 2 guards.
Ball at the 37-yard line of the Broncos. Elway stands in against a 4-man rush. Again, he buys time, and this time David Little slaps the ball back at him. Linebacker David Little, whose brother Larry was an integral part of those Miami Dolphins Super Bowl championship teams in the early 70s. Slapped the ball back.
Now let me make this comment on John Elway. You would think that eventually teams would pick up that the only way he seems to roll, on whatever way he rolls the first time, he seems to roll that way all day long. Today he's going to his right. We've seen him in other games against San Francisco where he only rolls to his left. Maybe it's by design.
John Elway says of his own running ability, he's not fast till he's chased. Now he has to contend with tremendous crowd noise. Pitch and a big hit. That was the rookie Darrell Sims who made the spike and the knockdown as they tried the shuffle pass, which worked earlier. That time a knockout punch was put on Gene Lang by Darrell Sims. So the Steeler defense holds again.
This is a pass completion by John Elway. Sims this time not fooled. He's the defensive end. Watch from the right-hand side of the picture. He's standing right there, and Kawapa, he nails Gene Lang for a loss. Norman must punt.
Chris Norman on the field to punt the ball for the Broncos now at his 21-yard line. Lewis Lips is back, and the cry you hear is Lou. Lou, they love him in Pittsburgh, and with reason. He can take it the distance. That time an angled punt carries out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. And the spot right at the 31. So the Steeler offense comes out a 33-yard punt as the Steelers get a couple of big plays in their top draft choice, Darrell Sims. First and 10 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, down by 1. A throw and an interception, a second of the day. Picked off by Steve Wilson. And he's not done yet as Wilson's back to the 40-yard line. So Wilson has been the defensive player of the game, and he comes up with a second interception, and he's slow getting up. Came in for injured Lewis Wright and did a big job all day.
Don, that ball was not thrown very well by David Woodley, and he knows it. He threw it way inside Lewis Lips, who had Wilson beat. Woodley shaking his head there. Now watch this reception. Lips again off the line of scrimmage, shows blazing speed when he gets Wilson turned. Now watch how far inside he throws this ball, Don. And Lips is open on the sideline. Second interception, only the second turnover by either team today.
Talking to Art Rooney Trump at halftime, he said the Chicago Bears, who we'll be seeing on many of these stations next Sunday as we take a second look, and you'll see Wilson step in, another perfect coverage for a second interception. He said the Chicago Bears are the best team in football because they believe they are. They're absolutely convinced nobody can beat them. He said we had teams like that in the 70s here in Pittsburgh. They knew they were the best. Now a tip ball by Elway comes in, and David Little almost had a play on it. It'll be second down and 10 as the Broncos are holding to a 10-9 lead. They led 10-6 at halftime.
I think John Goodman got his hand up, tipped that ball away. This is the best field position to start a drive for the Denver Broncos so far today.
The day in Pittsburgh is darkening now. It was clear and sunny. It's still very warm for a December 1st. There was a threat of rain. That's what they said yesterday. None yet. Here's a handoff. Sewell breaks it open inside the 30. And Steve Sewell rockets on down to the 26-yard line where Dwayne Woodruff finally got him, but it was a 14-yard gain, and the Broncos move on into field goal range.
About the only thing the Denver Broncos rushing have been able to do consistently are the draws, or the delays. You see this, a good job by the right guard of the Denver Broncos, Keith Bishop. Sewell with that great speed up there, knows where that first down marker is, and picks up 14 for the first down.
Gene Lang is out now for the Broncos. He's having a hand x-rayed in the locker room. Right back to Sewell. Big, lanky, angular back with tremendous breakaway speed and big power at 6'3", 210. David Little and Robin Cole, the inside backers of the Steelers, converged on him. On a first down carry, Sewell got ahead to the 24-yard line, a gain of 2. Third quarter.
In the third quarter.
Field goals big, though, would extend the Broncos' lead to 4 points. Steelers haven't been in the end zone all day. They're 9 points coming on 3 Gary Anderson field goals. It's the third quarter clock ticking down. Broncos leading 10-9, second and 8. Elway out to Sampson, the man who scored the Broncos touchdown. He's thrown back, a loss on the play. Dwayne Woodruff came up to make the play from the left corner.
That didn't work at all. That's a slip screen, and generally there is at least one man out in front of the receiver to block Dwayne Woodruff, who is the man in coverage. That time Pittsburgh faked the blitz. Donnie Shell right up in the line. And I think Elway just took the best he could possibly do. Third down and 8 now.
The lights are on at Pittsburgh as Dan Reeves looks on from the sideline. Broncos have only converted 1 of 8 previous third down attempts. Elway's going to take it himself.
Oh.
He didn't come close. John Elway got to the 21-yard line. It'll bring up a 38-yard attempt now by Rich Karlis.
Donnie tripped over his own foot. Absolutely went down by himself. Credit him with a 3-yard gain and a tackle. Watch what happens. Nobody touches him. He just doesn't pick up his...
Yep.
Right there, he catches his toe. Right down. And I tell you what, he had enough to pick up the first down, too.
The 29 yards, 39 yards where they set it up. Karlis stands in, hits the ball up. And Rich Carlos, miseries continue. He's not had a great year. So the Broncos, despite the big play by Wilson, the interception, cannot come away with points. 1:36 to play in the third quarter.
And you see Tom Jackson walk up and pat him on the butt. So that's all right. You'll have another chance. You'll get it. He's kicking into the wind there, that breeze. And it seemed to make the ball hook a little more than usual.
He's just not hitting the ball the way he did last year.
True.
Early in the season.
I agree with you.
Paul Zimmerman.
The interesting thing is they can't get Lips into their offense. Gone deep to him twice, and Wilson's intercepted twice.
Lewis Lips, the intended receiver on the Wilson interceptions. Now a knockdown made at the 20-yard line as the Bronco defense comes out smoking. Abercrombie is thrown back for a 2-yard loss. Busick, an underrated inside linebacker, made the play. Big shoes to fill. He's the man that took over for Gradishar.
And I'll tell you, Dr. Z is right, and they're now double rotating to Lewis Lips's side. They got a man short and underneath and one deep and outside. They got Lewis Lips covered any way and in every way they possibly can.
New Orleans Trump must like Wade Phillips, bum son. They're now in front of the favored Rams 19-3. Woodley throws, and a ball is off the fingertips of Calvin Sweeney at the 35-yard line. It's clean. There's no flags.
Harden, good coverage.
Broncos are down to the third cornerback on the left side. Now Wilson limped off after the last play, and you've got Randy Robbins, a backup strong safety, trying to cover Lips. I watched him on that time, and he gave him a strong bump inside, but they're going to have trouble on that side.
They're dropping like flies today, aren't they?
A lot of players have gone down, particularly for the Steelers. Randy Robbins, normally an extra defensive back, playing the left corner now, and Lips is against him. Although Tony Lilly's coming over to double up on him. They could be going that way on 3rd down and 12. Woodley's looking. Look at that play. Dennis Smith tried to get Woodley. He forced into a straight ahead run, and then the sack was made. A 5th sack by the Bronco defensive David Woodley.
Good call by Collier on that particular instance. They had double coverage on both outside receivers. Blitz the safety, Dennis Smith, who gives his body up for the team, diving right over Pollard. And Mecklenburg is credited with another sack. That's his 4th of the afternoon.
That's the most sacks against the Steelers this year. 5 times. Woodley's been sacked today. A good punt downfield by Newsom. Vance Johnson trying to turn loose the heat, but he can't break free, and there is also a marker down at the line of scrimmage. Dennis Smith limping off for Denver. A 45-yard punt, a 6-yard return. But the call is against the Steelers. It'll come back. 10 seconds to play in the third quarter. Denver without points in the second half, still holding to a 10-9 lead.
Downfield, illegally on the kicking team. Penalties refused.
Yeah, they're going to take the ball down.
1st and 10, Denver, ball on their own. 43 yards.
Yeah, they are. That's a pretty good field position of 43. So the Broncos will go from their 43. It's a bonus anytime you get it outside your 30.
Yeah, advantage is 10 seconds left in the third quarter. When they turn around, Denver will have the win, however so slight, at least at their back instead of in their face.
You have to wonder if John Elway isn't itchy to throw one of those first down fastballs now. He's put it in a number of times against the defense, but he goes to the run. Sewell trying to turn wide, and there's not much there. He did well to get a yard, and that was all out to the 44-yard line. Woodruff came in from the left corner. David Little was also on the play, and that's the end of the third quarter with a score Denver 10 and Pittsburgh 9. We'll be back after these messages. People in the National Football League or any league, Art Rooney, who started the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1933, one of the founding fathers of this league along with George Halas. Looking out, the Steelers trail the Broncos 10-9. John Elway again rolling out against the rush. He's daring, and again Little breaks it up. David Little trailing on the play in zone coverage is reading Elway's eyes. He's broken up 3 passes as we look at the third quarter numbers, Mr. Trumpy.
Well, let's see. Time of possession for the Broncos only by a little. And the Steelers need about 140 yards rushing per game and about 40 attempts, and they win. And they win 10 out of 10 today. Just 65 yards rushing. Only in with those numbers.
receivers in the game. Butch Johnson there flank as L throws hard and makes the next in down to the 48-yard line. Lance Jensen sure hit ball. The Denver first down.
You got to count that as a rookie mistake. On third down and that much yardage, you've got to run that pattern deep enough to get the first down, and I think you see Dan Reeves on the far sideline telling Vance Johnson exactly that. Get the first down, son.
John Elway has now thrown the ball 33 times, has completed 18 for 163 yards and a touchdown. Lewis Lips, he doesn't fair catch him, and he can go the distance. Well hit ball by Norman. Lips won't be able to take that one, and it hops out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. Walk out.
Wow.
And so a well done hit by punter Chris Norman. Paul Zimmerman, this is Don Crickey, Three Rivers Stadium, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the home of champions, they call it. In the last 11 years, 4 Super Bowl winners have been on this home field. All those great Steeler teams and a world championship team of the Pirates. Now Pittsburgh trailing by 1 with Woodley throwing from his end zone. He has a strike out to the 19-yard line. Lewis Lips coming back at the ball, makes a big play.
Steve Wilson again in the coverage. He is hot lips. You got to respect his speed, especially down here. Even though if you're Pittsburgh running about 5% of your offense, you know that the defensive backs are going to give him plenty of cushion. Woodley that time just took advantage of a good play action fake.
Bronco defense, Trumko, doing a good job shutting down the run. In his last 6 carries, Abercrombie has only 3 yards. So as the game wears on, the running has been even. Total yardage. Here's a handoff to Pollard, and he is out close to the 24-yard line on first down. Got about 5.
Don, just to show you the job Denver's done on Pittsburgh, even though it appears Lips has been a big factor in his football game, he's only got 2 catches for 29 yards.
It's been a game of standout defensive play. Steve Wilson called on to replace injured starter Louis Wright. He started the game, did Louis Wright, but went out. Wilson's come up with 2 interceptions. That's 6 for the year now. Defense comes busting through to make the knockdown in the backfield. Back at the 18-yard line on a 2nd down and 5 play. The Steelers are thrown back.
And Carl Mecklenburg that time, you see him lined up as an outside linebacker. Now Frank Pollard is the man who is trying to block him. Mecklenburg runs right over him. There to make the tackle. And once again, Abercrombie loses yardage.
Mecklenburg and A.J. Dewey play alike when A.J. was in good health at Miami, right down to the 7-7. Same number. Now 3rd and 9. Rulon Jones putting on heat. He might have gotten the throwing arm. And here is an interception by Tony Lilly.
You called it. He just touched the football, Don. Rulon Jones just able to get his hand on the football. Took all the zip off the pass by David Woodley. Lilly with the interception.
Our guest Paul Zimmerman has notes here that the KGB and the CIA couldn't decide. We want to check to him in a minute and see what his observation is at this point. That was the play, a free ball, and Lilly makes a diving interception. So the 3rd pickoff of David Woodley, and the Broncos get the ball at the 42-yard line of Pittsburgh. Denver holding to a 1-point lead with 12:04 to play in the game. Straight ahead carry will bring it inside the 40-yard line, down close to the 38.
Don, you got to give credit to this Pittsburgh defense. Once again, the offense has been erratic. The 3 turnovers by the offense, and the defense, look at there. The defense has kept Pittsburgh in this ball game. Denver's had outstanding field position, and they've only gotten the ball in the end zone once.
Second down and 8 for John Elway and the Broncos. Winder. All on to carry a 2nd consecutive time. After a 2-yard gain, he gets about 3 more. So it'll be 3rd and 5. Paul Zimmerman.
I think what's going to happen is that Pittsburgh is going to have to get the ball in good field position because the wind is picked up, and Woodley throwing into that wind without that strong an arm is going to be big problems for them.
It's a gusting wind, swirling wind.
Don, add another factor to that. Outstanding pressure today by the Denver Broncos. Their defense, I never thought that they would get to David Woodley 5 times.
is 3rd and 5. Throw and a strike and a first down for Denver. Watson down on one knee fields the ball and makes a big play for the Denver Broncos as a perfect throw by John Elway down low so the defense couldn't slap at it, and Watson sure-handed took it in.
And the veteran goes deep enough to get the first down. Watson's first catch of the day. You see the crowd of people there. Watson kind of gets lost. Elway just guns one in there. Last time they tried to do that, they went to the rookie Vance Johnson. He didn't have enough yardage for the first down. Watson gets it.
He's been outstanding right through the last 5 years. Only James Lofton has caught for more yardage in the NFL.
Reverse.
Vance Johnson, he's a sprinter. But he's not going to sprint through that, so he's going to throw the ball, and nobody's going to be close to it. Had a bad arm, but he was overshot his man by about 10 yards.
Didn't fool anybody.
Tell you one thing, Vance Johnson might be fast, but Keith Gary was ready to put him into the turf.
Merriweather right over. You see Johnson going in motion. He comes back. Steve Watson, an intended receiver here. He didn't fool anybody. It did not work. Watch Merriweather all over him. He just throws it so they avoid the sack.
2nd down and 10 now comes up. Ball just inside the 30-yard line of Pittsburgh. Elway's got a man. Watson wide open. Beat Woods deep and came right back at the ball, and the Broncos are down to the 12-yard line of Pittsburgh. 18-yard gain. Dan Reeves says to Steve Watson, he makes spectacular plays. You say he can't top that, and he'll come back a couple plays later and catch a better one. That was just a great route run.
4-man rush by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Full coverage back there. Woods again. There's no question that when they had their choice, they wanted to go to Rick Woods' side. That time, Watson just ran down about 15, 16 yards and stopped dead. Elway hitting.
We have 9:14 to play. The Broncos have not scored since the 2nd quarter. Their touchdown came on a 24-yard throw. Here's a handoff to Sewell, and he's heading in.
No flags.
No flags are down as Steve Sewell takes it in. A 12-yard touchdown run, and the Broncos go from a 1-point lead to a 6-point lead. A 7-point lead. 3rd touchdown of the year for Steve Sewell, the #1 draft choice from Oklahoma.
Well, they get the defensive line caved in. Watch Sammy Winder out in front. A decent lead block, not outstanding, but he makes contact, turns Woodruff around, and then Sewell's outstanding foot speed gets it into the end zone.
6-play drive. 41 yards. The big connections, though, were the Elway throws to Steve Watson. Then the touchdown run by Sewell. The extra point is good by Carlos, so the Steelers need 2 scores. They trail 17-9. Denver kicks it off. Steve Sewell's 12-yard touchdown run for the Broncos gives Denver a 17-9 lead in the 4th quarter, 9 minutes to play in it. Kick is hit downfield. Lewis Lips is bringing it back. Lips gets out to the 30. Tony Lilly on special teams play. Used to have gorillas, and
Hot Lips, Louis.
the most prestigious award in American amateur from Auburn. NBC with a special report, an hour special show at 5 next Saturday Eastern Time. 1985 high school winner. Long ball downfield. Sweeney makes a move on it, but can't get to it.
Look at Woodley. All day long, the Denver Broncos have been all over the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. That time, Jones and Mecklenburg right in his face. And eventually, a quarterback gets a little gun shy, throws it a little quicker. Look at these last 3 possessions. Denver Broncos defense has been outstanding.
Broncos have taken control of the game as it's worn on. Finally, in the last drive, they got the big hits on the throws by Elway, setting up the touchdown run by Sewell, and the Broncos lead 17-9. Pollard looking for room, and he gets out to the 39-yard line. He'll be short of a first down on a 2nd and 10, but not by much. Mike Harden ran him out.
In case you tuned in late, it's the missing offensive weapons of the Pittsburgh Steelers that's been the biggest factor in this football game, Don. Ehrenberg out with a pulled hamstring. John Stallworth not on the field with a pulled calf. And Pittsburgh's not been able to get the ball down the field. Lips has been covered and covered well by Steve Wilson most of this day.
They finally go to the tight end, and Woodley hits Benny Cunningham, the 6'5", 265-pound tight end out of Clemson. That's only his third catch of the year, and only the fourth to a tight end this season.
He gained 3 yards.
Whatever it takes, first down.
You can see he hits the linebacker and then releases. Woodley almost throws it through him, not to him. Tony Lilly on the tackle, but a first down for Pittsburgh.
Time becoming a factor for the Steelers. The game clock ticking down to 8 minutes and running, and the Steelers need 2 scores as the Broncos have opened up a 17-9 lead. Woodley looking deep. Firing back. Sweeney comes back at the ball. He's down to the 34-yard line. Mike Harden was victimized, a 23-yard gain.
Once again, the outstanding speed of these wide receivers. Sweeney now for Pittsburgh along with Lewis Lips. He just ran Harden off in coverage. Watch at the bottom of the screen. The acceleration by Sweeney. You see when Harden turns, that's when the receiver breaks out. Ball already on its way. Sweeney's 5th catch, 89 yards so far today.
Double coverage on Lips has given Sweeney one-on-one. They've been looking that way. Here's Pollard trying to make a move. He loses Ryan. And then coming up was Foley with a roll shoulder tackle. The cut down's made at the 32-yard line. First down carry was good for about 2 or 3. Giants, who are down 21-7, have now opened up a 33-21 lead on the Cleveland Browns, which will make Steeler fans happy. Cincinnati, if they continue, and it looks like they will, would be right in a tie for first place. It looks like we're going to have a 3-way tie for first today in the AFC Central. Wade Phillips, first game as coach of the New Orleans Saints, doing just fine against the favored LA Rams. David Woodley, pump fake and end zone throw, short, but it's caught for a touchdown by Lewis Lips. His 12th touchdown of the season, his 10th TD reception, 31 yards.
Game breaker this kid is. Steve Wilson in the coverage, the ball underthrown. Lips survives the contact with Wilson in the end zone and comes back to get it. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, what a player that kid is.
3 receptions for Lewis Lips for 60 yards, and that touchdown, the extra point is on the way and good. And it is now 17-16 Denver lead. Defense hasn't given Lewis Lips, the standout for the Steelers, very much, Trump. But that play he got free, and Woodley was there.
I'm telling you, put this pattern in a time capsule. Watch at the top of the screen. Lips absolutely freezes Wilson. Boom, boom, right there, and then accelerates by him. The ball is underthrown. Watch the adjustment he makes.
Wilson still is right there.
I'm telling you, that belongs in the time capsule. That is an unbelievable pattern and catch by Lewis Lips.
Now the kickoff by Anderson is hit deep. Johnson from the 3-yard line for the Broncos. 20. Let him get open and you're chasing the wind, but the Steelers knocked him down, and so the Bronco offense comes out.
What a play. What a play by Lewis Lips.
Well, Zimmerman, what do you think the Broncos have to do to sustain this 1-point lead?
I think they have to hold the ball, and I think they have to worry about a defense that looked like it was cracking on that score. I mean, they'd been on the field too long. The offense wasn't doing anything. They were ready to crack, and they did crumble a little bit. Now they've got life.
Well, now I look for the Pittsburgh Steelers blitz right here on this series.
Loud noise intense at Three River Stadium. Elway gets his people in position. Sewell and Winder. Lang went out with an injured hand. Sewell, last time he touched it, you remember he ran for a touchdown. This time he sprints ahead for close to 5 yards. Taking a head-high hit from Keith Willis.
Pittsburgh's got to be looking for the turnover. You get the turnover with the blitz, they got to take a chance. There's 6:05 left, and of course every offensive coach would love to have 5 or 6 yards picked up on the first down. Makes it easy, and that's what Denver got. Sewell now 7 carries, 40 yards, and a touchdown. They got to go after him on this series.
Broncos out to move the ball and run the clock, holding to a 1-point lead. Here's the blitz. Merriweather. Completed pass. Sampson takes it, but he actually lost a yard on the play out to the 32-yard line. So it brings up 3rd down and about 6.
Don, I think Merriweather got his hand on that ball, and it still went to Sampson. They got to keep doing it.
They were looking for an airtight game coming in, and that's what we have. Denver Broncos holding to a 1-point lead, 17-16. 5:20 to play in the game. The clock is running. Watson wide at the top of your screen. That's where they might be going. Elway takes a look. Intercepted. Merriweather. One man to beat is Elway. Merriweather's going in, and the Steelers take the lead.
On the return, Elway chose the wrong man to throw it to. Triple coverage.
Anderson gets the extra point. 5:02 to go. So Elway's first real mistake is turned into a go-ahead touchdown by the Steelers.
He didn't have to move a muscle. There is no pressure on Elway. He never catches sight. Never sees him. Perfect coverage. Obviously a big mistake by John Elway. That's the first interception return for a touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. What a time, too. This defense has been unbelievable today.
So now the Broncos will get it back. Here's the play again from a different look.
This is a misread. You could see they had everybody up at the line of scrimmage. I think John Elway thinking blitz. They drop back in coverage. Merriweather a room service pass, and he ordered it up. Elway delivered.
Vance Johnson at the 3. Look out. Johnson open field. And finally caught by Dwayne Woodruff, but Elway and the Bronco offense start out in good field position, trailing by 6. A 39-yard return by the sprinter from Arizona, Vance Johnson.
Well, now John Elway's got to go out there and make up for it.
And he can.
Watch Johnson. He gets it on the right-hand side of the field. Good acceleration. Woodruff, the safety man, makes the tackle, and that's his job.
Again, the crowd noise intense. Elway hits back to Winder. He's ahead for about 2 yards, and that's all. David Little, the inside linebacker, came up to make the play. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Don, you see what this crowd has done to the Denver Broncos, and John Elway took him out of the shotgun. He's got to go up underneath the center, Billy Bryan, and take every snap. Listen to him.
109th straight sellout at Three Rivers Stadium. The yellow and black crowd colors in Pittsburgh as they go after John Elway. He looks, he throws. Almost intercepted by Brian Hinkle.
Intended for Clarence Kay.
Big down now for the Broncos and Elway. 3rd down and 8 comes up with 4:09 to play. 23-17. The Steelers have just come from behind to take the lead on an interception and a subsequent return for a touchdown by Mike Merriweather.
Yep, thrown for 2 touchdowns. One for us and one for them.
Hey. Sampson and Watson come wide right. Butch Johnson at the top of your screen. 3-man starts in. Here's a throw. Watson has the ball for the Broncos at the 37-yard line. Another perfect play to Watson when the Broncos had to have it. 19 yards and a Denver first down.
Boy, that was a 3rd down and 9. Watch the time he's got. And then the gun. Wingo. That baby is there. Donnie Shell is not 6 inches from perfect coverage.
Throw.
And he gets it in there for a reception.
So the Broncos drive on. The clock running. 3 minutes, 34 seconds to play in the game. Denver trailing 23-17. Strike. This one is to Sewell. He's down to the 31-yard line. A gain of 6 on the first down throw. Here's the first final and the first win for new head coach Wade Phillips as New Orleans beats the Rams 29-3. The Rams have lost like, what, 4 of their last 5?
Yeah, what's happened to them?
4 of their last 6. Green Bay blanking Tampa Bay. Browns making it close. A game of much interest to AFC Central followers. New England up on Indianapolis in the 4th quarter. Elway ready to throw it perhaps for a 41st time. He's 23 for 40 for 211.
Here comes the blitz.
They pick it up. Clint Kay goes for the ball, and he's got it for the Broncos inside the 5-yard line. Clarence Kay, a big blocking tight end from Georgia, runs the deep pattern. They double up on the wide receivers, and Clarence Kay has it right on his fingertip, thrown by Elway for 27 yards. It's 1st and goal, Denver.
You see the blitz again. Cole and Little coming. Single coverage. Elway puts it right on the money. Eric Williams in coverage. Kay, an outstanding catch. Big play. Elway now 24 of 41 for almost 238 yards.
We're going to wind down now to 2 minutes as the Broncos deliver a superior play when they had to have it. Now they're in position to take it in and possibly go ahead. We have 2 minutes to go. The Broncos getting back downfield on the John Elway throws. Now ready perhaps Mr. Zimmerman to take it in and go ahead.
I think a lot of people are going to criticize that blitz call by Tony Dungy. I liked it. Make them beat you on great plays. It was a perfect play. If you don't blitz, if you lay back, they're tired now. It's late in the game. There's something off their rush. If you give him time, he's going to beat you on ordinary plays. This way, he has to beat you on great ones.
Yeah, but Dr. Z, I'll tell you, now we know why Tony Dungy does not want to blitz. He doesn't have the coverage people to keep track of these guys. Clarence Kay is not particularly a great receiver, not a very quick receiver, not extremely fast. He beat Eric Williams and beat him like a drum.
I don't think he beat him. I think he made a great play and outreached him.
Well, the ball's at the 4-yard line. That was a big play. I'll take it no matter how you get it, Z.
Now the Broncos have to contend with the crowd noise. Intense again as it builds up. Pitch back. Sewell looking to go for a second touchdown, and he's down to the 2-yard line on a 1st and goal run. Gain of a 1.5 yards or so, knocked down by Dwayne Woodruff, who's made some key stops for the Steelers, and right now we're going to have a timeout signal by Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Defense calls timeout to give your offense enough time, if they get the ball back, to get it in the end zone.
Trail by 6 with 1:50 to play. Sewell down to the goal line, and there's the touchdown signal. The Broncos are in, and they've tied the game, in position to go ahead with the extra point by Carlos. 1:45 to play. So Denver comes right back down the field after they'd lost the lead on the interception return by Merriweather for the go-ahead score by Pittsburgh.
Now, there are a lot of people around the NFL who look at Denver and say they're lucky. 3 of the last 4 wins by 6 points or less. They are 21-8 in their last 2 seasons, 8-3 in games decided by 3 points or less, 3-1 in overtime games.
Ain't luck when you do it all the time. Carlos hits the extra point up, and he gets it, and the Broncos take back the lead 24-23. Paul?
They had this situation last week against Washington. They recovered an onside kick. They had the ball, chance to come back with plenty of time left. They threw 3 straight incompletes and an interception. What I would do now is I would go in 3 wide receivers, get their nickel people in, run some draws on them. They have enough time to run a few draws, and that can get them in shape.
Paul, let's remember what happened at the end of the first half. Denver went to the prevent. It was no problem for Pittsburgh to march the ball right down the field. If Joe Collier makes that decision again, Dan Reeves and the Denver fans are going to be coming right through the TV at him. And the touchdown A nice sweep run by Sewell. Last time he scored on this play, but this time he cuts it up underneath. Sammy Winder out front. Little makes contact, but Sewell at 6'2½", 6'3", stretches into the end zone. And the H block out in front.
Steve Dan's our producer today for NBC Sports. Andy Rosenberg, our director, as we have 1:45 left to go at Three Rivers Stadium. NBC statistician Ross Schneiderman putting up the rushing yardage that the coaches thought was so important at the outset. Denver has 93 now, and Pittsburgh has 76. So the Broncos did indeed, as the game wore on, shut down the Pittsburgh running game, and they've taken back the lead. Straight ahead return out across the 25-yard line by Lewis Lips. Now with 1:40 left in the game, Woodley and the Steeler offense comes out trying to get in field goal range. You recall now that the man who boots him for Pittsburgh is a long-range bomber. Anderson's hit from 52 this year, and he's made his last 13 field goals in a row.
Don't forget, Don, he's going against the wind. I'm looking at those banners now, and they're really flying.
Let's also pay very close attention to what kind of defense they deploy. 2, 4. This is 5 defensive backs now.
Woodley stands in, gets time, gets a man. Calvin Sweeney heads out of bounds at the 40.
Oh, there should have been a flag thrown there. Tony Lilly hit Calvin Sweeney at least a step out of bounds. That would have been a dumb penalty to take because it adds 15 yards to the end of the play. It's all right to be aggressive, but last week Keith Willis gets a big penalty against Pittsburgh and hurt him. Sweeney now 6 catches, 99 yards.
Pat Poland, the president of the Denver Broncos in his second year as the owner, in a bright orange sweater. There's some orange in the stands today, but most of it's yellow. The yellow flags that are waved at Three Rivers. Here's an interception, and the Broncos are going to put this away. As down the field is Mike Harden in for a touchdown. 1:24 to play, and the Denver Broncos now go out front 30-23 with the extra point coming up. A 46-yard return, and you talk, Trump, about room service.
Lucky. They keep calling the Denver Broncos lucky. You know, the better you are as a football team, the luckier you seem to be. It looked that time, Don, like Woodley had predetermined in his mind where he was going to throw the football. No question about it. That he had made up his mind where he was going. The coverage was there. It was an easy reception for Harden. 42 yards officially on the interception return. That's 1 for each team.
So Mike Harden, 6-year veteran from Michigan, makes his 4th interception of this season and is in the end zone with it after the return. And now Carlos working to give the Broncos another 8-point lead, which he does. 1:24 to play, so the Pittsburgh Steelers all of a sudden find themselves just about out of luck.
Don, he was going to its tight end, Preston Gothard, on that, a reserve tight end who was in for more speed. He didn't see the double coverage, and I don't know why they'd want to double cover a tight end, but they did. They guessed right.
And Z, do you also agree that he appeared to, in his mind, in the huddle, decide who he was going to go to? Watch once again. He doesn't look at anybody else. Harden is right out there to make the interception. I mean, it's simple. Double coverage. Very poor choice by David Woodley.
I'm sure he thinks that now.
Yes. But I mean,
just as John Elway did earlier. But
look at this. 15 of 32 for David Woodley, 227 yards, 4 interceptions.
That being the most critical.
Look, anytime a quarterback goes back, you got to look off somebody. You can't keep staring at a receiver. Defensive backs are going to catch on.
So in the space of about 30 seconds on the game clock, the Broncos have come from behind and taken a commanding 8-point lead with 2 quick touchdowns.
You know, you have to wonder how much energy David Woodley has. He was in the hospital 2 days this week. He may be running out of energy.
Throwing against the wind.
Yep.
Lewis Lips returns the kickoff. He's run down and out of bounds. Coming up to get him on the play was Mike Harden. 1:18 left to go. Pressure on now. The L.A. Raiders in the AFC West. They'll be getting these numbers. All competing in this unique format. It's next on NBC Sports. As right now, Woodley will be throwing for all he's got. His team down by 8. Pitch and a catch to Weegee Thompson out to the 43-yard line. Steelers, though, need 2 scores and have just 71 seconds to do it.
Randy Robbins in the coverage, as the scoreboard says.
Looks like there's going to be a 3-way tie in the AFC Central. The Browns would go to 6-7, so would the Steelers, and Cincinnati routing Houston would also be 6-7 at days. And I think the Bengals, Trump, probably are in the best position.
Well, they got the toughest schedule, and Pittsburgh cannot hope for any ties. They must finish 1 game ahead of Cleveland, because Cleveland has the better division record, and so does Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's beaten Pittsburgh twice. Here's a throw to Calvin Sweeney over the middle. He's down to the 46-yard line, a first down. The game clock ticks. 1:03 to play. Steelers have 2 timeouts remaining. Going into formation without a huddle, no timeout call. Another throw, another catch, but so what, say the Broncos. They'll give them the 8-yarders all day long, because all day has 43 seconds to go for Denver.
Don, if there's one prevailing factor in this football game, it's been that 4-man defensive line by the Denver Broncos.
The Broncos have won a lot of exciting games in the 5 years that Dan Reeves has been their head coach. This has to be one of them.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Big win, beating a divisional co-leader on the road.
There aren't a lot of people who have given the Denver Broncos and Dan Reeves an awful lot of credit, but this is an outstanding football team, and they win on the road, they win at home, they win in the last second, they blow people out, they make up for mistakes. John Elway does. 13-3 last season.
They double cover tight ends.
They double cover tight ends at the right moment.
41 seconds to play. Steelers trailing by 8, down to 1 timeout. Woodley lets a rip, and it's broken up by Tony Lilly, who will do some hitting. 3 regular season games to be played. After this one for the Broncos, a big hookup with the Raiders next Sunday at Mile High Stadium. Most of you will see it here on NBC Sports. And on the following Saturday, the Broncos home again to play Kansas City. And then they head to Seattle for a Friday night game that concludes their regular season.
Sweeney, a big day. 8 catches, 119 yards, and there's who the Steelers have left.
At San Diego, and Buffalo comes in then at the Giants. There's a throw and a catch by Preston Gafford down to the 14-yard line. The clock ticks down. 25. You see it winding on down, a 24-yard gain. Broken away, and that was Mecklenburg driving. That's why they drop him back in coverage sometimes.
Yeah, he's everywhere. Also plays on special teams, and one of their best special teams players. On the Pittsburgh Steelers today averaged 2.9 yards per carry, 76 yards on 26 rushes. And Joe Gordon told us last night, if they gain 137 yards rushing, they win. If they rush 40 times, they win. They did neither today and lost.
Mike McGinley and Tim Fogarty for their help in the booth today as the game ticks down to 9 seconds left to go. Steelers trailing the Denver Broncos 31-23. A 6th sack.
Wow.
Rulon. Most sacks against the Steelers this season.
Mecklenburg's had 4, hasn't he?
And Mecklenburg has been put an S on his chest.
Swinchilkin down.
Steelers have lost about 4 starting players, at least for the remainder of this day, with various injuries. Coach Chuck Noll has seen the highs and the lows. Came in here as head coach. First team had a 1-13 record. They, of course, went on to win 4 Super Bowl championships.
That's
a good
play
run
by
against the
Rulon
Broncos.
Jones. He gets the quarterback down and he gets his man out of the game.
Yeah. Interestingly, though, worth repeating that during the 80s, Pittsburgh here 29-13, but in that same stretch of time at home, they're only now 4-6 against AFC Western Division opponents. And that's strange.
They think it is. The Steelers aren't used to losing records, but they have one after this day's. And here's another final in now. The Cincinnati Bengals go to 6-7, routing Houston 45-27, a track meet. Steelers' David Woodley takes a look, lofts it into the end zone, and it's incomplete, and the game is over. And the Broncos rally to win. An inspirational comeback engineered by John Elway, and some tremendous defensive plays as the Broncos put the game away when seemingly they were in deep trouble, and finally they go on to win it 31-23.
The injuries to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first part of the football game certainly put their offense at a disadvantage, but they still got it done defensively.
We'll be back.